Last year produced one of the closest finishes in the history of all of NASCAR. So the excitement level for today's race is pegged here in Texas. Hello one and all, I'm Matthew Owens and welcome to Texas. Thanks for having us in for the race. Seth Eves is coming up in just a moment. It has been a really fun start to the Xfinity Series season, and now into the meat and potatoes of the season, no doubt about it. Coming to a mile-and-a-half track like Texas, which for so long, these mile-and-a-half quote-unquote cookie-cutter racetracks have been the heart of the season for any NASCAR National Series. Now, of course, the schedule has so much flavor to it, but still these mile-and-a-halves are important, and that is what the Xfinity Series has for its next two races. Texas today, and then in 3 weeks' time they head to Charlotte, then a fairly similar mile-and-a-third oval in Nashville on the last Saturday of May. So again, these drivers and teams, they have not had an off week all season long. They've got two coming up here after today, but this is one of the more physical races of the Xfinity Series calendar, 300 miles here in Texas. Qualifying was rained out here yesterday, so the field was set based on the rule book, which is a metric that uses 70% owner points and 30% last week's finishing positions, of course, after a dramatic race at Talladega last weekend, which has a lot of implications on today's race as well, which we'll get into. Cars are already on the racetrack for parade and pace laps. Let's give you the starting grid for today's race, set by that metric, of course, when qualifying was rained out yesterday. It puts Austin Hill, last week's winner in Talladega, on the pole, alongside the championship leader, Justin Allgaier. Jesse Love, the Daytona winner, starts in row 2 alongside Jeb Burton, who was just inches away from victory last week. Harrison Burton, a former winner at Texas in this series, starts from 5th alongside Sheldon Creed. Sam Mayer and Matt DiBenedetto line up in row 4. And in the 5th row, it's Daniel Dye and Anthony Alfredo, who had an all-around great weekend, Xfinity and Cup, at Talladega last weekend. Blaine Perkins is with rookie Taylor Gray in row 6. Carson Hocevar is in row 7 with Nick Sanchez. Nick Lights has the best starting position of his career. He'll start 15th alongside Dean Thompson, who's been so impressive to start the season. Texas native Leland Honeyman is in row 9 with Brennan Poole. Ryan Ellis is in row 10 alongside Kyle Larson. More on Larson's appearance in this race in a moment. 21st on the grid is Brandon Jones alongside Sammy Smith, such a key contributor to that finish last year here. Christian Eckes is in row 12 alongside Josh Bilicki. Jeremy Clements and Kyle Sieg start 25th and 26th. Row 14, Riley Herbst and Mason Maggio. Florida driver Josh Williams starts from 29th alongside Pittsburgh's Chris Wright. Ryan Sieg, the heartbreak runner-up in that photo finish last year by just 2/1000ths of a second, starts 31st alongside Mason Massey. Don't worry about Ryan. Qualifying hasn't been the strong suit of that team this year, even though there was no qualifying yesterday. He's been moving through the field from deep in grids this season. In row 17, Corey Day gets his second start in the Hendrick Motorsports entry, car 17, alongside Parker Retzlaff of Wisconsin. Row 18, William Sawalich, the 18-year-old from Minnesota, and Catherine Legg, who had a good run at Talladega going last week before getting swept up in an accident not of her own doing. And in the final row, it's Joey Gase of Iowa and Garrett Smidley, another Pennsylvanian. That's the starting grid for the Andes Frozen Custard 300 here at Texas. 38 cars in the starting grid. Thank you very much. 27 Chevrolets, 6 Fords, and 5 Toyotas. The race record was set here in 2008 by Kyle Busch at an average speed of 151.7 miles an hour. Happy birthday weekend, of course, to Kyle. We'll talk more about the all-time winner, all-time leading winner in Xfinity Series competition, turning 40, more tomorrow on the Cup Show. As I mentioned, Seth Eves with me here today in Texas, high atop turns 3 and 4 on what has turned into, Seth, a very sunny, blue sky day here in the Lone Star State, and we're excited for what this race could give us. No doubt about it, Texas has been one of the much more maligned racetracks for many years, but over these last couple of years, it's starting to come into its own. It's starting to gain a character of its own, and last year, Xfinity and Cup gave us tremendous races. We're hoping for more of that today and tomorrow.
Absolutely we are. Good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, very much looking forward to seeing how the race goes today. Of course, an unbelievable finish to the race last year, and will we see something similar today? And, you mentioned Ryan Sieg. We got some pretty heavy hitters back there starting in the back of the field. I think that's going to make at least the start of this race even more fun. I mean, this is going to be, this sort of be an exciting one. And, hey, the Xfinity Series is on a heater right now. This is the only race I'm going to be on this weekend, so might as well be the OG duo together for a race in Texas. They say everything's bigger in Texas. That includes the broadcast booth today.
Yeah, that finish we've been talking about, Sam Mayer and Ryan Sieg here last year, slamming into each other, coming to the flag. Ryan Sieg looked like he had it wrapped up, only for Sam Mayer to charge back at him in the final set of corners and steal that win away. We've talked a lot about Ryan this year, Seth, and the close losses that he had last year. It wasn't only here, it was also at Las Vegas last year, Talladega, and he's had really good runs to start this season too. Is this going to be the day for Ryan Sieg to finally score that first career win? Can't wait to find out. He's been so good this year, 11th in the championship through the first 11 races.
Yeah, very, very solid. He's had a solid journeyman career in this series, and if he were to get that win, I think it would be one of the more popular wins in Grand National Series history.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Looking for some redemption here today. As I said, it looked like he had that race wrapped up in the final laps last year before Sam Mayer took it away from him. Field just got one to go. We'll be going green here in about 90 seconds or so. Justin Allgaier and Austin Hill on the front row, Seth. Those are your top two in the championship through the first 11 races. Hill's, of course, already won 3 times this season, including last week. Allgaier has a couple of wins this year. 21-7 on the front row. Going to be hard to beat today, won't they?
Yeah, they will. But as you teased earlier, there's a certain someone who wasn't supposed to be in this race, but will be in the race starting back in the 20s. It'll be fun to watch him come to the field. And before we go to green, you could explain that portion of the day.
Yeah, if you were with us last weekend at Talladega, last lap crash, putting Connor Zilic hard into the inside wall from the lead on the last lap. He has some back ailments, so Junior Motorsports has made the decision to back him out of the race today. So Zilic, who already does now have a playoff waiver for injury, is still playoff eligible. He'll miss today. Luckily, he gets the next 2 weeks off to rest and recover. Kyle Larson slides into that 88 car today. We know he'll be a threat. He always is at these kinds of racetracks. Ready to go, Seth, as the Corvette pace car is set to peel off for the Andes Frozen Custard 300.
It's one of the best sponsor names we have of the NASCAR season. Who's going to get that silver chrome-plated scoop of custard at the end of the day, at the end of the rainbow? Let's find out for the Andes Frozen Custard 300 start Here's Walnut Cove, North Carolina's Matthew Owens.
Can't wait to get going here today. Sun is out, blue skies overhead, solid crowd on hand. Austin Hill and Justin Allgaier, the dominators of this series, bring the field to the green flag, and it's time to drop the hammer in the Lone Star State of Texas. Austin Hill takes off, throws a block on his teammate Jesse Love going to turn one, and this very unique racetrack with different ends of the speedway, Allgaier around the outside of turn two, powers to the lead.
Good power move by Justin Allgaier takes him to the lead. Hill into second. They fan out almost 4 wide there in the back of the pack, but it's Allgaier and Hill who run 1-2, and there's already a spinner. Ryan Ellis gets loose and spins to the apron, heading out of turn number 4, slides back up the track. No, he doesn't. He's going to stay on the apron, get it to pit road. Caution is out. Not sure why. I thought everybody else had avoided it, but Ryan Ellis going for a spin on the first lap of the race.
Well, you'd have to think contact was involved there. He was right in the middle of the pack. Caution is out at the end of lap 1, and we'll try to figure out what's happened to Ryan Ellis, who hails from Ashburn, Virginia. What happened to him?
He got a little help from Chandler Smith. Chandler Smith gave him a tap, and he approached turn 3. Ellis tried to save it, but he couldn't, and a good job by everybody else staying on the track and avoiding him, and then by the time he came back up towards the track, I guess no one else was there. So, thankfully, this was only a single-car spin. But Chandler Smith, oh boy.
They were 4 wide going into the corner. Now, let's talk about this racetrack as we have an opportunity here with this early yellow. They reconfigured this racetrack in 2017, trying to make it really completely different than all the rest of the mile-and-a-half racetracks. They definitely did that. They were trying to make it different, and they certainly succeeded in that. This is a very wide racetrack, certainly at the turns 1 and 2 end, where there's only 20 degrees of banking. That banking at 1 and 2 really reminds you of the old Kentucky Speedway. Saying old before Kentucky Speedway. It reminds you of the turns at the Kentucky Speedway, turns 1 and 2 does, and it's extremely wide and ranging, but not all of the grooves. You could probably run 8 grooves over there, but only 3 of them about get used most of the time down there in turns 1 and 2. Then the racetrack really flattens out very quickly when you exit 2 and head down the back straightaway. And Seth, when they come to you, that back straightaway is not very long. It's only about 1,300 feet long, and then they dive into turns 3 and 4, which is 20 feet more narrow than turns 1 and 2, but it's got 4 degrees more of banking. So it's narrower, and it's faster over there in 3 and 4.
It absolutely is, and Ryan Ellis and Chandler Smith both figured it out. Now there's my kind of party. When you come to Texas, you got to have the brisket. You got to have the big tail grill to cook on. And these gentlemen, they're having a good old time.
Did see Dean Thompson make it to pit road here under this
but
caution.
Yes.
But
yes, 3 wide, but yes, narrow racetrack. When you get there, fast but narrow, which can lead to trouble.
Texas Ranger fans down there by the looks of it. Dean Thompson, I mentioned, is on pit road and actually has the hood up on his Sam Hunt Racing Toyota.
That's a tough one.
Really is. They have had a really good start to the season as that team. 16th in the championship standings. 12 drivers get into the Xfinity Series playoffs, so being 16th, you're right in the mix to try to make it. Of course, still a good amount of time to go in the regular season, but has been a good start to the year for Dean. They actually won a stage earlier this year, did that 2016. But in some early trouble here. Wow, look at the rack of ribs down there from the Texas Ranger.
Oh, my goodness. I just had a small lunch because I got a big dinner waiting. I did not need to see that big rack of ribs. Lord have mercy. I kill some ribs, which again, it's a big broadcast today. We can, there's a lot of foods I can kill. Ryan Ellis said he wasn't sure what he could do. He told the team he couldn't get out of the way fast enough on the start and got turned. Team called him to pit road early to ensure he didn't tear up the fenders with a flat. Yeah, we don't even have Josh T today, so we are. I'll be doing a lot of work today. giving you reports. Of course, that's from getting these reports from the tweeter box, as someone once called it, or the Xbox, as you could call it now, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. Christian Eckes on pit road, just underneath that right rear tire well, making sure there's no damage there. Yeah, Josh T is off. He's actually on site somewhere this weekend, so not with us this weekend. We are on JBM though, so
how dare him?
I know it. So big hello to everyone listening to us on JBM and on YouTube, as we are really excited for what we could get this weekend here in Texas, because there's a chance that we could get two really, really fun races here this weekend. And again, it is interesting, isn't it, Seth, how Texas has made this big turn in the eye of the public?
Yeah, it's amazing how, one way or another, a lot of tracks have made a lot of turns in the eyes of the NASCAR public. We won't get into that, though. My goodness. But yes, it is weird how this.
We just had a car spin through the grass here under caution, Seth. That's Josh Balicki.
I was going to say, did we go back to green and miss it? I mean, because yeah, the Rita's car. I guess it's supposed to the Rita car. So the Rita's ice treat. I think that's the one of that's sort of like that stuff Jerry Punch talked about in '95 when he got flustered and Benny had to tell him there was a pass for the lead going on.
I'd like to know what happened to that car to send it through the grass under caution. Okay,
well, I'm gonna guess. I said Chandler Smith. My apologies. It was Christian Eckes. I don't know why I said Chandler Smith.
Christian Eckes, the rookie driver who has had such a good last couple of years in the Truck Series, of course. Graduating up to Xfinity, now driving with the Colleague Racing team, which has had a lot of success in this series the last couple of years. Phil doubled up and getting ready for the restart set that'll come at the end of lap 6.
Justin Allgaier will be the leader, followed by Austin Hill, Jesse Love, Harrison Burton, Jeb Burton, Sam Mayer, Sheldon Creed, Matt DiBenedetto, Anthony Alfredo, and Daniel Dye. How about the Burton boys? Nephews, I think. Few years apart, a few feet apart on the racetrack.
Yep, they're straight up there as we get ready for another restart. Again, it's Allgaier and Hill on the front row, and the green flag waves. Allgaier takes off, gets the whole shot. Jesse Love directly behind him. One car puts a splitter off in the grass. Everyone keeps it pointed the right direction. No, they don't. Two cars go spinning in turn 1. One is Nick Lights off the top of the banking in turn 1. The other at the bottom is Leland Honeyman. Nick Lights making his first career NASCAR start of any kind here at this racetrack, goes spinning, picks it up, gets back going with what seems to be minimal damage. We'll have to check on the Leland Honeyman car. He comes your way, Seth.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of he's got some damage there to the left front there. Like that left front nose. Hey, Matt White, been in. Just a little bit there, and we have not ran a single green flag lap in this race.
No, we sure haven't. Someone towards the front put their splitter down in the grass here on the main stretch. May have even been Jeb Burton. Everyone got away from that though, and this was another handful of rows back where this accident happened. Oh, yeah.
I think that might have been Eckes who kicked up the rooster tail.
And it was Lights. Lights checked up. Yeah, Lights checked up to make sure nothing nefarious was going on in front of him. And when he checked up, Leland Honeyman ran over the top of him, and that's how they got turned around. Sammy Smith and Ryan Sieg somehow making it through the carnage. So Lights is now on pit road here.
Texas higher-ups aren't going to love that grass dented in like that.
No, they won't. Now, this racetrack has been creating quite a bit of yellow the last few years. We had a In fact, a track record 16 cautions in the Cup race here last year. The Xfinity race last year had 7 yellows, and Sammy Smith, I said he got through it unscathed. He hasn't. Punched in the nose of that Pilot Chevrolet, and hopefully for Sammy Smith's chances today that has not damaged the radiator. Speaking of yellows here, we saw a big one here last night in the Truck Series race, and it was pretty similar, wasn't it, Seth? The truck got down, clipped the grass, and the splitter of the truck dug in, turned the truck sideways, created a multi-truck accident going into Turn 1.
Yeah, exactly right.
In that case last night, it was Gio Ruggiero who clipped the grass and created that big accident. So yes, Seth rightly says we have not taken a single lap fully under green yet, as we're under caution again. Nick Lights and Leland Honeyman caught up in a restart jam session. Nick Lights doesn't run every week. Chesapeake, Virginia driver for SS Greenlight Racing.
He doesn't run every week. What gave that away? You saying this was his first NASCAR start of any kind?
Well, first NASCAR start of any kind at Texas.
Oh.
Yeah, he has run a few races this year. Ran at Darlington. That was his last race. Has skipped the last 3, Bristol, Rockingham, and Talladega, as they keep cycling drivers in and out of that 07 car. Patrick Emmerling has been in that car the last couple of weeks. Finished 12th, in fact, Emmerling did last week at Talladega. The Western New York driver, Emmerling, from Orchard Park.
Oh, God. At least he didn't finish 4th 4 straight weeks. Once again, USRN, just call us a very cheap dollar store version of Inside the NBA. Seriousness, yet quirks like that. The most politically incorrect racing broadcast you'll find anywhere.
And, of course, by dollar store brand, he means we don't have the star power. We could have fun with Charles Barkley, though.
I don't like to insult the both of us, but yeah. I mean, it's hard to go against Charles and Ernie. Now we were on par when they had Jalen Rose on there together. That put us on par, but
oh dear, thank you very much. Oh gracious. Well, speaking of the NBA, we've got very loud, thank you. Didn't need to be that loud, producer. Come on, do better. We've got 2 NBA Game 7s coming your way over the next couple of days. Tonight, Game 7 of a first-round series. It's been terrific. The Los Angeles Clippers and the Denver Nuggets. That's at 7:30 tonight over on USRN. And then tomorrow night, another Game 7. This is at 8:30 on USRN tomorrow night. In prime time, the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. The last 2 games of the opening round. Second round of the NBA playoffs also begin tomorrow at 6 o'clock on TNT, True TV, and Max. You'll have Game 1 between the Indiana Pacers and the Cleveland Cavaliers. As the first round comes to a close tomorrow, second round also begins. And, of course, we'll have tons of coverage throughout the rest of the playoffs on USRN and USRN2. Once that second round slate gets officially put down, we'll have more for you. We got Game 7 in basketball and hockey tonight and tomorrow on our networks.
We call this weekend at USRN, call it a super fast Game 7 weekend.
Yeah.
4 Game 7s, 4, well, actually, if you count the sprint race this morning, 5 automobile races.
Yeah, how about that?
It is a action-packed weekend. Hey, if you're subscribing to us, for tell a friend, an average Joe friend, if you get my hint, and download this Mixler app and just stay with it, keep it here all weekend long.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have to go somewhere, you carry it with you, and guess what? You can listen to it there. You know, so you don't have to worry about anything. If you're being drugged to a party that you really don't want to go to, you can sneak off into the corner and listen to us. Because, you know, what would you rather be at a family get-together or hang out and listen to us?
Indeed. Here comes the field back to the Echo Park.
Can we go a green flag lap here?
Let's hope so. Green flag waves. Justin Allgaier on the inside of row 1 takes off. Austin Hill elbows his way back to Allgaier's outside as they race to turn 1, and Allgaier shoots to the front off the bottom of the racetrack.
He does. Austin Hill leaving the bottom open briefly for his teammate Jesse Love, then tucks back in. Love now goes down about a groove. Allgaier, though, checks out by 2 car lengths over Hill. Here's Love going to the inside, and he will hold on to that 3rd position. First side-by-side battle at mid-pack with Sam Mayer.
Off turn 4, Allgaier will lead the first complete lap under green, but there was one car really high off of turn 4, nearly got the wall. It was Anthony Alfredo, made the save on it, but now he's got Taylor Gray trying to pass him down on the inside. Gray
goes down to the inside there as they continue to fan out. Meanwhile, further up, here's a battle for 3rd place. That is... that is Sheldon Creek. Wow, they put the dark red on that number. Good Lord.
They did. Yeah.
I mean, I was assuming it was Creed because the scoring monitor told us, but good God, that number's dark. Wow.
And Creed does slide by Love for 3rd, as there was some contact on the first lap off that restart set between the teammates Hill and Love.
So when Love went down a groove, that wasn't by design. He kind of got pinched there by his own teammate. So that's what happened there. Here's Taylor Gray going inside of Matt DiBenedetto to try and grab the 9th position. Good power move, inside line, definitely the preferred one here.
Gray moving up quickly, the rookie in that Toyota Supra. DiBenedetto's not giving up so far yet.
Well, what do I know?
Powers back around the outside of Gray, got the run off the top of the banking, but he's going to be trapped on the top for turns 1 and 2. Again, less banking on this end of the track, makes that top lane tougher to run, but DiBenedetto's got it down pretty good.
Yeah, he absolutely does. Good run here by Matt DiBenedetto. Meanwhile, further back behind, you got Taylor Gray and Anthony Alfredo battling. Meanwhile, Sam Mayer looking for 4th. He has extra incentive to repeat. He's got the race's sponsor on his car.
Absolutely right, and he has had such a great start to the season as Sam Mayer, 3rd in the championship standings coming into the race today. He's finished almost half the races this year in the top 5. We've run 11 races. He has 5 top 5s on the year, does Sam Mayer, the defending winner of this race, as Seth mentioned. So in a fight for the 4th position. Let's pick up Kyle Larson in turn 3.
Yeah, Kyle Larson in that light blue 88 car trying to work his way towards the front, making a couple of moves in the mid-pack. Larson, scoring man, where's he at? 12th.
12th position, filling in for Connor Zillich is Larson. Further up, here's Nick Sanchez battling for 4th off turn 2.
Sanchez got a little loose coming out of turn number 2. We got some sharp-looking paint schemes in this race today, and there's one of them. Sanchez in that gold 48. He drives inside. Oh, a little bit wobbly as he pushed into Jesse Love. Jesse Love's car, it's all over the place right now.
Sanchez sweeps up out of turn 4, makes that pass on Love. Very strange to see that 48 car not in the bright orange and white creamsicle look. Yes, the 48 of Sanchez on the move to 4th.
Love trying to fight back on the inside off the exit 2. Sam Mayer's waiting just in case something happens with these two, which it might. Love goes to the inside. Oh, but a great power move on the outside by Sanchez. Usually in the corners, the high side's not where you want to be, but Sanchez showed right there. He's got some muscle in that car.
So Sanchez holds on to that 4th position on Love. Now Sam Mayer skips up to this battle, and it could be a 3-way fight for the 4th position as they're back in turn 2.
In turn number 2, Sanchez keeps the spot ahead of Love and Mayer. After Mayer, you got about 2 more car lengths before you get back to the Jeff Burton machine. Meanwhile, Taylor Gray almost blocked down to the apron by Harrison Burton back at 9th place. Brandon Jones, who started pretty deep in the pack, working his way up through the field.
Harrison Burton with a dramatic win here in the final turn of the final lap in 2020, battling with Noah Gregson. He is just in front of this battle between Gibbs' teammates Brandon Jones and Taylor Gray. Larson and Alfredo there as well.
Yep, good run. Here is Larson now to the outside of Gray. Meanwhile, here is Jones inside of Harrison Burton. And Brandon Jones now grabs that number 9 position in that neon number 20.
Jones, the Darlington winner from just a couple of weeks back, snapped a 98-race winless drought with that victory. Ran well at Talladega last week, too. And we got another spinner on the main straightaway. And once again, it's Josh Bilicki. Right. So he is spun at this section of the track now under caution and under green. Very strange indeed. Caution comes out here. And the road course racing teacher from Wisconsin isn't faring very well on this oval in Texas today.
No. And to put it mildly, at this time I think he got some help.
Green, red, and white number 91 of Bilicki was running right in front of Leland Honeyman, and if they didn't touch, they came as close as you possibly can without touching. And around went Bilicki in that Rita's Italian Ice Chevrolet for the DGM racing team. So the caution comes out for a third time, and we've barely completed 20 laps. By the way, this first stage, 45 laps, and we're just about halfway through it. And the leader remains Justin Allgaier. So far through this Xfinity Series season, we've run on 3 mile-and-a-half tracks. Now, one of those is Atlanta. So a lot of people don't look at Atlanta anymore as a quote-unquote true mile-and-a-half track anymore. They more put that into the super speedway category. But the tracks that are a mile-and-a-half in length this season that we have run on in this series, Atlanta, Las Vegas, and Homestead, Justin Allgaier and Austin Hill have swept those races. Hill won at Atlanta, Allgaier won at Las Vegas and Homestead, and those are the drivers running first and second halfway through this opening stage here at this mile-and-a-half track. Some leaders, not all, hit pit road here.
Is the first one leading the cars down there on the left of the screen. He is plowing tight. He came on the radio on lap 1 and said that he was chattering the front tires and then doubled back on it at this yellow and just said we are way too tight. Harrison Burton, he has gone backwards. It was started the race tight and it's just gotten worse. So they'll make a chassis adjustment there on the 25, 4 tires and fuel for both these cars.
Jesse Love and Harrison Burton on pit road. Dean Thompson is there. It was about 9 or 10 that hit pit road here under this caution. How about that, Seth? Can you believe that? Under caution, the CW went down to their pit reporters.
I tell you, that's
they're down there for a reason.
What a concept.
Nice to send it down to pit road and actually have someone give a pit report.
Instead of having awkward silence.
That's right.
It's like waiting on Jeff Hammond to come in. All right, check olive oil. Check olive oil.
Only a few of us understand that, of course. So we're under caution here at Texas. We'll take a quick step away, and we'll return.
Gordon Johncock was on his way to certain victory in 1977, but then fate intervened, and the 4-time Winners Club was officially opened.
Johncock has pulled over to the left side of the straightaway. He appears to be slowing. He has cut his car in off of the apron at the south end of the main straightaway. A.J. Foyt is now our leader. A.J. Foyt down the main straightaway. The checkered flag is out. A.J.'s hand in the air. He is the winner. A.J. Foyt at Indianapolis has won his 4th 500-mile race.
The greatest spectacle in racing, the Indianapolis 500, this May on USRN.
Grid Network is your home for all the latest news, highlights, and analysis in the world of motorsports. Tune in to Grid Tonight, your weekly motorsports news program, every Wednesday evening. And watch Grid Live pre-race, wrap-up, and encore every Saturday, Sunday, and Monday as we discuss each weekend's races. Subscribe to Grid Network on YouTube to watch all our live programming and catch up on past episodes.
2 months after a devastating crash left him with 38 fractures in his back, Buddy Lazier scored a heroic win in 1996.
Buddy Lazier taking a look at the fourth turn, comes off the fourth corner, and the checkered flag lies just ahead as Buddy Lazier takes the checkered flag and wins the Indianapolis 500.
The greatest spectacle in racing, the Indianapolis 500, this May on USRN.
This is Matt White.
Out of the final corner, he has rustled up a good one. The Good Ranchers car wins, and Alabama's Scott McLaughlin has got his fourth IndyCar win.
You're listening to USRN, Mixler's fastest network. Joseph, Pato, Hello. St. Pete, Long Beach, Nashville. Penske, Ganassi, McLaren. The Three-Peat, the Drive for Five, Redemption. The world's fastest drivers are ready to go. IndyCar in 2025 to USRN.
Back live, USRN2, JBM from the Texas Motor Speedway. Today is the 48th NASCAR Xfinity Series race here at Texas. First race held in this series back in 1997, and Seth, you just won't believe it, who won the first ever Xfinity Series race at Texas? Mark Martin. I know that stuns everybody.
I tell you what, the worst thing if you were a Grand National driver in the 1990s on a Saturday was you think you're minding your own business, then you see a black and yellow car with a wrangle with a masked red cowboy on the hood of the car. When you saw that car coming, you knew you were pretty much in trouble. Yes. Back before the days of the modern day complaining about bushwhacking, he was the one that was really causing not really much of a stir, but believe me, if I were around, I probably would have been getting, and I like Mark Martin, but I probably would have been getting really tired of it. I actually know probably about it. Nevertheless, green flag about to come out here.
Keep an eye on Jeremy Clements. He had to come down pit road. He's got a transponder problem on the 51 car. Green flag waves to get back underway after our third caution of this opening stage. Once again, the front row Chevrolets, Justin Allgaier and Austin Hill, got very close together going into the corner. Hill shoots up the banking, and going by him to take second is Sheldon Creed.
Good power move there. So good power move to go to that top spot as they continue to go. They fan out two, sometimes three wide briefly further back, but field works their way there. And I'll tell you that 7 car's got a motor under him, doesn't he?
And Jesse Love, we heard from the pits from Dylan Welch. He's complaining about his car. He got into the corner off that restart, and it went way up the banking. And Love lost at least 10 positions here on this restart. He's back in 28th now.
That is an evil handling race car on that number 2. It's been that way since the word go. Thanks. I was about to say Kyle Larson. Oh, there we go. Kyle Larson darting to the inside of Sam Mayer and the 2 light blue hooded cars battle, and it's Larson with the pass.
So Larson continuing to move forward. He's now up into the 5th position. We were just getting a replay on our monitors of Jesse Love shooting up the track and losing all those positions. Let's pick up the lead group in turn 2.
Larson whips it to the high side of the racetrack. Sam Mayer. And now, hi, Jeb. Jeb Burton trying to get Brandon Jones for 7th.
Of course, finishing second by inches at Talladega last week. Very emotional after the race. He thought he had won it. When the caution came out, he was just inches behind Austin Hill. Speaking of Austin Hill, he is under some pressure from Kyle Larson here as we race lap 29 of 200 in the race and 45 in stage 1. Let's pick up a battle in turn 3.
Nick Sanchez, gets way wobbly, way loose, trying to get second from Sheldon Creed. Sanchez, though, keeps the foot in it and stays in the battle.
Still door to door as they race back to the start-finish line. Creed has a nose in front in that Road Ranger Ford Mustang, but Sanchez will stuff it to the bottom of turn 1. Is he able to complete the pass in turn 2 for P2?
Yes, he does. So move that gold 48 up to second. Meanwhile, back at 4th, Kyle Larson puts the bullseye on Austin Hill. on the approach to turn 3. Larson trying to whip it to the high side. That doesn't surprise anyone that he goes the long way around.
Larson between the hash marks in turns 3 and 4 gets a good run off the corner. Austin Hill, though, closes the door, so Larson will reload and recoil. As they arc back to turn 1 once more, Larson testing the top of the banking.
He is testing the top of the banking, trying to grab that 4th position, and he has a good run coming out of that number 2 corner, and he makes the pass. Kyle Larson up into 4th place. And he now will set sight on Creed for P3.
Promising to see the top being so advantageous, especially at the turns 1 and 2 end of the racetrack, because that's normally the end of this track, that the top does not come in at all. But Larson's making passes up there. Connor Zilich, of course, that's normally his ride. He's watching from the pit box as Larson's on the move again, Seth.
He goes way down to the inside of Sheldon Creed. And Larson just blows by. Yeah, it doesn't matter how short a notice it is. You put him in a car like this, it's not long before he goes to the front. Remember what I said about Winn-Dixie Rustler, man?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, what is on the hood of that car? But a light blue hood with a white mountain backdrop has that same feeling today.
Yeah, new look on that 88 car this weekend. Blues Hog on the hood and quarter panels. I will admit I've never once heard of that.
Neither have I, so don't feel bad.
But we do welcome them with open arms here to NASCAR.
Absolutely.
The leaders race up out of turn number 4 since being passed by Larson. Sheldon Creed is now dropped into the clutches of Austin Hill. Meanwhile, Larson drafts right up to the back bumper of Nick Sanchez at the end of the main straightaway. He'll take it high again in turns 1 and 2.
Takes the whip and moves to 2nd place. Kyle Larson is on a mission, 2.5 back of the lead. Meanwhile, back at 4th, good battle here with Sheldon Creed, Austin Hill, and Sam Mayer and Brandon Jones. Good little foursome back there at 4th.
A weeble and a wobble from the back end of that 0-0 of Creed. Kept his foot in and around the bottom. He and Hill come across the line through this quad oval, door to door. Hill with a nose in front going to turn 1. He'll keep it loaded up around the top. Creed taking the short way around.
Creed does take the short way around, but now Sam Mayer comes on his outside. The 2 teammates from the Haas factory team go into that number 3 corner, and Mayer, great pass. Sam Mayer gets the spot.
And, of course, this track has not been laid down with any kind of substance this weekend. Last handful of years, they've either laid down the PJ1 or the traction compound. There's been no appliances of anything to the track this weekend, Seth, and so far we've gotten a multi-groove racetrack. Good to see.
Absolutely. Jones had to tuck back in line behind Creed. Meanwhile, Ryan Sieg, you said qualifying starting was not his strong suit. I'd say so. He started 31st. He's just cracked the top 10.
This feels like every week with this 39 team. Again, no qualifying this week. It got rained out, but had to start 31st. And he's already up to 10th, and now make that 9th, and he's going after 8th in turn 1 with Jeb Burton to his outside. Sieg on the move.
He sure is. Gets by the Jeb Burton automobile. And another spot for the 39 of Ryan Sieg, and he is now up to 8th and has brand new. How about Corey Day? Last lap, they showed a graphic about who the biggest movers were from the start to now. He was the one who had gained the most spots. He started 33rd. He's now 11th.
Yeah, just got around. Riley Herbst, one of the Cup regulars in the race today. So Corey Day has moved up to 11th, 22 positions that he's picked up.
And you hear from folks like, including some of our friends who are in who've been in the dirt race community, says this guy is legit. Obviously, he's legit. If Junior Motorsports and the Hendrick, with the Hendrick car sponsorship, decide to put him in that 17 car, the one they rotate as an all-star car between the Cup Series guys at Hendrick Motorsports.
Right. Yeah, that Hendrick Motorsports entry has been spectacular this year. Alex Bowman nearly won at Phoenix. William Byron nearly won at Coda. Kyle Larson did win in that Hendrick car at Bristol. This is the second start for Corey Day in that car, and he finished 21st at Martinsville. You can't really hold that against him. Everybody was off their rockers that day at Martinsville. So Corey Day getting to catch his breath, get back in this Hendrick car today, And he's putting a good run in as he runs 11th, trying to run down Anthony Alfredo just ahead of him as they race back to turn 1. 10th, 11th, and 12th, Alfredo, Day, and Herbst.
Yeah, good battle going on right there. Meanwhile, here's about a trio at 6th, 7th, and 8th. That is Creed and Jones battling for position. Creed a bit high into 3, leaves the door open somewhat for Jones. Oh, Creed got a little loose there. Jones eating him up.
Brandon Jones underneath Creed, but now here's Ryan Sieg arriving on the scene at terrific speed, and instead he'll butter knife his way to the inside of Brandon Jones. Sieg's going to pick up another position here. Up to 7th he goes, and he might try to take 6th from Creed.
And it looks like he will take that 6th spot from... no, he hasn't taken it. Yeah, I'm sorry, I lost train of thought there. So he's got the spot from Jones, now puts the bullseye on Creed. As they go through 3 and 4, that 39 is some kind of fast.
Meanwhile, we're down to 4 laps to go in the stage. Justin Allgaier's lead on Kyle Larson is shrinking, but it's still a 2nd and 3/4. You would think, Seth, comfortable enough to get him to the stage flag.
Yeah, even as hard charging as Larson is, 1.7 seconds is still a gap. But really, Larson, maybe it's by design. He's trying to save his car a little bit, but he has it. His charge to the front has stalled somewhat.
Of course, Allgaier has been so good at this racetrack in this series in the past, including last year. But boy, has he found ways to keep from winning here. It's really quite incredible, Seth. Here at Texas, he has 7 top 5 finishes, but no wins, despite leading a load of laps. In fact, coming into action today, Justin Allgaier had the 3rd most laps led in Xfinity Series history at this racetrack. Guess who he was behind in that category, Seth? Oh, I don't know. Kyle Busch and Kevin Harvick.
Pretty good company.
It's pretty good.
2 guys who will be getting blue jackets very soon.
Right. Of course, Allgaier last year in this race led 117 laps, won both the stages, but finished 3rd in the race. Trying to knock down his first Texas win here today at a track where he has been so very good at. He has started the last lap of the stage. His lead on Kyle Larson is 1.4 seconds. As Sammy Smith comes across the line in front of us here after suffering damage in one of the earlier cautions, but let Seth pick up Allgaier on the last lap.
That silver and black and multicolored number 7 machine is cruising. He's got a couple slow cars, but Larson ate the deficit up a lot there, but not enough to win the stage.
Yep, Allgaier right behind a couple of lap cars, cruises to the flag, and scores his 4th stage win of the season ahead of Kyle Larson, Nick Sanchez, Austin Hill, and Sam Mayer. As stage 1 finally is complete here in Texas. 3 yellow periods in this first stage.
All right, time to get the on this day and birthday cranked up.
Right. So Allgaier gets another green and white checkered flag. As I mentioned, his 4th stage win of the season for the driver that's won on the first 2 mile-and-a-half tracks that we've raced at this year, the true mile-and-a-half tracks in Las Vegas and Homestead. Certainly did it at Las Vegas in dominant fashion, and he is trending towards doing it in dominant fashion today, but should be interesting to see him square off with Kyle Larson for the rest of the day, as Larson has been able to pick his way through the traffic and get towards the front. As always, at the end of stage 1, we figure out on this day what has happened on this day in racing history and some racing birthdays. Matt White, the guy, our guy that normally does it every Sunday, Seth, he sent me a note. You can use it about May 3rd in IndyCar land. So I'll get to that when we have a break in the action. But let's go, Seth. Saturday, May 3rd.
Not a lot of birthdays that I would know. Matt White would know some of these people, but
he knows them all, of course.
Yeah. Not one of the 2 Jason Whites that ran in the Truck Series. From this one's the one from Canada. Happy birthday, Jason White from Canada, 52 years old. Now, Let's go to racing on this day. On this day in 2020, it was the Finish Line 50 for iRacing at Dover, won by William Byron. On this day in 2015, a super speedway race where everybody was too scared to pass Junior in the Geico 500 at Talladega. If you can believe it, the most recent race in this series on this date was in 2014. That's when Elliott Sadler held off the pack to win the Aaron's 312 at Talladega. Also on this day, Tom Hessert won the ARCA International Motorsports Hall of Fame 200. On this day in 2008, Kyle Busch became public enemy number 1. Spinning Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the final laps in the Crown Royal presents the Dan Lowry 400 at Richmond. I would love to hear Matt say that. Maybe he has and I missed it. Clint Boyer was the one who got the victory. Yeah, Clint Boyer's like, guys, I won that race, you know. Another Richmond Classic that had tempers and ended up being stopped short was on this day in 2003 when Joe Nemechek won the Pontiac Excitement 400 at Richmond. I missed that race name title. On this day in 2002, Jason Keller won the Busch Series Hardee's 250 at Richmond. On this day in 1998, Mark Martin won the Cup Series California 500 presented by Napa, which included a gruesome crash for Bill Elliott.
Oh.
He had some gruesome crashes back in the 90s and even in 2000. Truck Series ran on this day in 1997. Rich Bickle won the Craftsman 200 at the Portland Speedway. On this day in 1992, Davey Allison won the Winston 500 at Talladega. Also on this day in 1992, Nigel Mansell won the Tio Pepe Grand Prix of Spain at the Circuit de Catalunya. Speaking of Davey Allison, it was on this day in 1987 where he won his first Winston Cup race, winning the Winston 500 at the then-named Alabama International Motor Speedway, which, of course, is Talladega. And Busch Series on this day in 1986, Tommy Houston won the Hampton 200. Now, there's a guy you youngins need to learn about in this series. He never really did anything in the Cup. I don't know if he made the Cup, but Tommy Houston was an example of a guy who just felt right content in the Busch Series and gave a lot of starts. Bobby Allison won the Winston 500 at Talladega on this day in 1981. Likewise, a winner in 81 on this day, Nelson Piquet, winning the San Marino Grand Prix. And finally, on this day in 1930, Bill Cummings won the AAA Champ Car Series Langhorne race at the Langhorne Speedway.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. Yeah, Matt was already doing some prepping for tomorrow's segment, and he sent me that the 3rd of May is the first day since March 1st that an IndyCar race has not taken place since 1981. It's a very obscure stat, but again, that's one of those stats that Matt White, of all people, would have.
Only he would know it.
Right, exactly. Leaders on pit road. That's good timing, Seth.
Yeah, let's start at the top. Kyle Larson at 88. He said he was bound up on the front end, just needs to be freer. He said, I have to avoid the rubber, otherwise I get really tight. They'll look for an adjustment there. Middle of your screen, that's Nick Sanchez. Car felt good to start, but then throughout the run he got tighter. He said, I need to help late exit. They'll make a track bar adjustment as well as air pressure. Dylan?
Jim Pullman, crew chief on the 7, asked his driver, Justin Allgaier, if he could be freeing up with adjustments. Justin said maybe a little bit, so they'll make an air pressure adjustment and a small track bar adjustment just to trend the 7 a little bit more towards the free side.
I said Kyle Larson would be starting closer to the front this time than he did on the original start, but I don't think he will. He just, 88 team just had a 21-second pit stop. Now, granted, Xfinity Series pit stops look longer these days because now we're used to 8 and 9 second stops on the Cup side, but 21 seconds is not a good stop. So yeah, Larson has lost track position.
I say back in my day as if I'm 75, but when I was coming into watching NASCAR, I always felt like the mark of a good pit stop was 15 seconds.
Right.
And if you hit it less than 15, you either took 2 tires or you were Matt Kenseth's crew.
By the way, on the I just saw a flash up a moment ago on the second screen. You'll like this one. Rebecca Lowe and Dylan Dreyer to stay dry at Churchill Downs.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, Becky Baby was hosting Premier League from there the last 2 days, I should say, hosting Premier League coverage from Churchill Downs, and now has gone into Derby coverage with the whole crew, led, of course, by Mike Tirico, the great Mike Tirico, who we're going to miss at Indianapolis here in a couple of weeks.
Indeed, we are. Oh, we absolutely are.
So help me if Kurt Menefee shows up.
Or Rob Stone.
I'm going to guess Kurt Menefee will be on the UFL. And then
Jeremy Clements has a penalty. Crew over the wall too soon.
Probably too good for Rob Stone is probably too good for this, at least in his own mind.
That's the truth.
Did you just say Christian Eckes went behind the wall?
No, I think I said Jeremy Clements had too many men over the wall on a pit stop.
Very good. Christian
Now Eckes might have gone behind the wall, but that's not what I said.
That's what I was going to report. We were talking about Rob Lowe. Yeah, we were talking about Rob Lowe.
No. That's the Lowe you like.
Rob Stone we were talking about.
Larson to the rear for an uncontrolled tire.
Well,
Jeb Burton to the rear for pitting outside the box.
Maybe that's why Larson's stop was so long. Anyway,
it might have something to do with it.
As we don't talk about Rob Lowe or Rob Stone, yes, too many men over the wall for Clements, behind the wall for Eckes. And then pit road penalties for Jeb Burton and Kyle Larson. Now here is Randy Moss and Jerry Bailey at what looks to be a Five Flags or a something kind of amusement park. Randy,
oh dear God!
And of course, anytime
run away, kids!
And of course, anytime we get to horse racing season, we have to remind everyone this is not, Marshall University's Randy Moss. Now here's Larry Colmus in a third box. Now he's going to call Jerry Bailey and Randy Moss riding a roller coaster.
Oh, for God's sake! Yeah, those two Randy Moss and Jerry Bailey at an amusement park. I would not take the kids to that one. And you know I'm right with the Randy Moss because I've heard a comment. We won't say it on air, but you've given a comment about him in the past that I've heard you say about him.
No, we definitely won't say it on air. Oh, that was Universal Epic Universe. Okay, in Orlando.
Wow, that's a really original name.
Yeah. There they are.
Way to think outside the box, guys.
There they are with Mike Tirico on the desk. Now, they have moved that desk. It's not at the clubhouse turn. Of course, we talk about missing Mike Tirico in a couple of weeks at Indianapolis. Allow me to say we miss Tom Hammond on the Derby.
Oh, I know that's right. Oh.
What a gentleman and what a great broadcaster he was. That was incredibly underrated. Won't get talked about as much. Well, of course, okay. God help us if under caution we go down a sports media rabbit hole, but here we go.
I think it's too late.
Tom Hammond, who very nearly was the voice of Sunday Night Football on NBC. When NBC acquired those rights, they had not yet signed Al Michaels. Al was going to stay at ESPN, going to stay at Disney and go to ESPN and do Monday Night Football with Joe Theismann. And Sunday night on NBC was going to be Tom Hammond and John Madden.
Really?
Uh-huh. And then, of course, we had the trade between NBC and Disney, which sent Al Michaels to NBC, and then he was
Mickey Mouse or something.
Yeah, for a cartoon, Mickey Mouse's nephew or something. Could you imagine being traded for a cartoon?
I might be questioning how much my worth really was.
I would rather cash considerations and a fourth-round pick.
And a player to be named later.
Now here's...
I always love that player to be named later, pick to be named later. Yeah. They want to make a documentary, the history of the players to be named later in blockbuster trades.
Now here's a graphic, the Kornacki Derby.
Oh yeah, he and Edzo are there.
Yeah, Edzo.
Ahmed Fareed was in the jockey locker room yesterday. Didn't look too out of place.
Well, of course, his father was a jockey.
Who, Ahmed Fareed?
I believe what I heard there.
Really? I know Lafitte Pinkai was
absolutely with Lafitte. All right.
Donna Brothers.
Donna Brothers. She's been on every one of the NBC Kentucky Derby broadcasts going back to 2001. Here we go for the restart.
The fastest in Derby history.
Austin Hill and Brandon Jones on the front row. Green flag waves. And we're back underway. Stage 2 gets started here in Texas. Sheldon Creed is all over the back bumper of Austin Hill, shoving him into turn 1. Hill holds the bottom and takes the lead. Creed follows him in line second. They're side by side at third.
Side by side at third. Hill clear to the lead with Creed second. Allgaier and Jones side by side for third. Jones some kind of loose, but he has a spot. Nick Sanchez, boy, that car's got muscle on the outside. Keep him in mind as a potential winner as the day progresses.
They clear turn 4. They're 3 wide in the middle of the pack. Allgaier trying to go around the outside of Brandon Jones at 4th. He will cut down to get in front of Jones in turn 1. He'll file in line right behind that fast 48.
Indeed, he does go past that, tuck in behind that fast 48. And meanwhile, Corey Day thought about a peek to the inside of Sam Mayer. That's back at 8th place. Mayer keeps the spot. Day back in that 9th position.
Meanwhile, Kyle Larson trying to make up ground after the pit road penalty. Boy, a moment ago did he ever get loose off the top of turn 4.
I saw someone slide up high. I just didn't know who it was.
Made a great save, did Larson, as this is a huge nest of traffic in the middle of the pack. Parker Retzlaff trying to get through it.
Yeah, weaving through. Whoa, one car darts way down to the inside. That is Carson Quapple in the car that won this race last year with Sam Mayer. Quapple getting a spot.
So Quaffle moves up. Speaking of Quaffle, his teammate Justin Allgaier may have the best car here. He makes very easy work of the Nick Sanchez automobile going into turn 1. Allgaier moves up to 3rd. What about Larson trying to get through traffic? He just got by Blaine Perkins, now to the outside of Kyle Sieg.
Yeah, that's what we call a no contester there, I'm afraid. As they march way down, and now Quapple goes down to Larson goes inside with a couple more cars running side by side. Matt DiBenedetto's in that mix.
Brennan Poole. It's nearly contact here on the main straightaway between Leland Honeyman and Daniel Dye. Those two nearly had it coming together in the 10 and the 70. Meanwhile, Allgaier's on the move again.
Sheldon Creed keeping him at bay, though, on the approach to turn 3. Creed drifts up about a half a groove, trying to leaves the door open for Allgaier. Allgaier might have a run off 4.
Allgaier trying to slip to his inside, pulls over right to that left rear corner of Creed's Ford with the side draft. Allgaier pulls him down the straightaway, clears Creed, and goes back to 2nd.
So move Justin Allgaier to P2 ahead of Sheldon Creed. Sanchez 4th, Love 5th, and Sieg, Mayer, Herbst, Jones, and Day behind Hill, who leads the race. And, Dean Thompson had a moment, Matthew.
And that's what created the near contact between Dye and Honeyman on the main straightaway was Thompson getting loose off of turn 4. Dean's had a rough go of it so far.
I'll tell you, Leland Honeyman, though, is the one who's been at the scene of all the action, though, I believe.
He really has.
Dogleg, and that's sort of where when the 70 had to check up, Daniel Dye was going there already, and it just sort of condensed them together. That's why it looked so close.
Dylan, what's the latest on Christian Eckes?
Well, they just did go back to the garage and spoke with the team, and they said it was a push rod issue in the motor that they are going to try to fix and get back out there. You see Eckes out of the car, so I don't know if that's changed the more they've dove into it, but it was a push rod issue. This is a team that needs points even at this point in the year, so if they do go back out and log laps, it's going to be valuable.
Meanwhile, Justin Allgaier stalking Austin Hill, Seth, in turn 3.
Yeah, Sanchez, I said Mark is a potential winner, Larson too, but if there's anybody that would be called class of the field, I feel like it's the 7. He's got the best car on the property, as proof by how he has eat up Austin Hill in next to no time.
Crosses the line, only 2 car lengths behind last week's Talladega winner. They race back into turn 1. He beat Hill by a 1/10 of a second last lap. He's beating him here and eating up the gap in turn 2.
Yeah, within a car length on the exit of that number 2 corner. Now down the back straightaway. About a 1 car length lead between Hill and Allgaier approaching turn 3. Allgaier trying to reel him in. Hill keeps the lead, but again, Allgaier, I don't think it's going to be too long.
Races back to the main straightaway. These two a second clear of Sheldon Creed at third. Nick Sanchez is fourth. Fifth is Jesse Love. Just had a change at sixth. Sam Mayer getting around Ryan Sieg. Then it's Riley Herbst, Corey Day, and Brandon Jones wrapping up the top 10.
As they work their way down the back straightaway, now we've kind of gotten into a bit of a single-file processional formation, if you will, depending on which term you want to use, as Allgaier's charge is stalled just a slight bit.
And really, that's the first time we could say that today after a very action-packed first stage. Here's Sam Mayer trying to pull up to the bumper cover of Jesse Love. Love has fought his way back up to fifth, but you've mentioned a couple of times how that car has been reacting today to the track, and he's loose again in the middle of 1 and 2, and here comes Mayer.
Boy, he got a great run off that second quarter. He goes to the outside, blows by Jesse Love, so moves Sam Mayer to the 5th position. Meanwhile, further back, 13th place, Taylor Gray makes a pass on the inside of Harrison Burton.
Taylor Gray, been very impressed with him at the start of his rookie campaign in this series. Hasn't always gotten the finishes he's deserved, but he's been up there most races. Ryan Sieg just lost a position a moment ago to Sam Mayer. Now he's falling into the clutches of Riley Herbst. Meanwhile, let's pick up Kyle Larson off turn 2.
I just blew by Daniel Dye as if he was standing still. Then goes to the inside of Dean Thompson. Good night, America. In about 3 seconds, Larson picked up 2 spots.
Well,
I think he's kind of good at this driving race car business.
Larson just put it on rookie mode, as he so often does. Now he'll pull in on the 42 of Anthony Alfredo. Meanwhile, Sieg's going to lose another spot down the backstretch.
Yeah, Riley Herbst blows by him, so move Herbst into the 7th position on the approach to turns 3 and 4.
Herbst, who of course got 2 wins in this series last year, both in thrilling fashion, both with last lap passes at Indianapolis and the championship race at Phoenix. Here's Taylor Gray at the start-finish line, elbow to elbow with Josh Williams. Gray will pick up another position here. Of the 38 starters, 37 are still on the track and 36 are on the lead lap.
Yep, so pretty good from that perspective here today. Meanwhile, you've got Gray and Williams back there, back at 12th. Josh Williams, he's had a rough go of it. He even missed a race due to an illness, I do believe it. Boy, Dean Thompson closed on Larson there a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. That 26 car, as I mentioned, has been a contending car in the top 15 or so this season at the Sam Hunt Racing team. Larson ahead of him. Meanwhile, Sammy Smith's issues continue. He's fallen back to 32nd. That Larson and Thompson battle, by the way, is at 18th on the track.
Yeah, so still some work to do for Larson to get towards the front of the field, but he looks pretty good.
Probably the best thing that could have happened for us was that pit road penalty, because if it wasn't for that, he would have restarted at the first couple of rows. And we might be talking about a runaway, but we're not right now. And no one likes a runaway, of course, so we're very excited.
we respect runaways, but we don't particularly like them.
Exactly right. It's very hard to make them as exciting as, exciting races.
Well, now I will say this. There is one exception. Like when Byron was trying to pitch a perfect game at Darlington a few weeks ago.
Right, so that's exactly right. And everybody
now that was
that
different because that was history. You're like, you don't see that often. Like, you were 3, I was 6 the last time that happened.
Yeah, and of course, everybody hated that race too. We just live to hate races.
I tell you, we got social media has given people a voice to be absolutely miserable.
Right. Yes, Joey Logano during practice and qualifying this morning for the Cup race told a PRN pit reporter that it was impossible to pass, and social media latched onto that. It's going to be terrible tomorrow, Logano.
Okay, Joey. God almighty.
And social media latched onto that, especially when Jeff Gluck retweeted it. It's going to be an awful race tomorrow. It's going to be terrible. Yes, we love to forecast how terrible the races are going to be. Let's pick up the leaders on the course coming out of turn 4 and across the line. Austin Hill's lead on Justin Allgaier is still at 2 car lengths. They race down into turn 1. one. Hill's going to mid-track it. Allgaier is only half a groove lower than him. They're in turn 2.
Work their way out of 2. Allgaier within 2 car lengths of Hill as they approach the back straightaway. It is Austin Hill to lead as they now go into that turns 3 and 4 portion of the racetrack. Hill leads. He's got slow cars side by side ahead of him.
One of them is Catherine Legg. The other is the 91 of Josh Balicki. And Hill closes in on Balicki at a terrific rate of speed. Goes right past Balicki, now around the outside of Catherine Legg. Allgaier will do the same, and in fact, Allgaier's going to lose some time here.
Yeah, I tell you, Hill knew that. He knows that 7's a fast car, so he knows he has to deal with these lap cars ASAP. I think that's what that was.
Yeah, agreed.
I still have to call Ryan Sieg back there battling Brandon Jones for the 9th position. As Jones closes in on him, a couple of Georgia drivers here, and I'm sure they'll be the first to tell you about Georgia's domination of the state of Texas this past football season.
And Corey Day just ahead of that Georgia duo. Corey in the 8th position, 9.5 seconds off the lead.
Good battle here, and Larson, this won't be a good battle. He'll blow by Harrison Burton for 15th place. Well, not yet. Off the exit of turn 2. Let's see. And now it's over. Larson down to 15th. Burton going to try a crossover. You wish. Larson back to 15th. I thought about a time we did a truck. You said that during the truck race at Watkins Glen Mockinson, except you put a word in front of that I'm not going to say.
Better off. Jesse Love and Riley Herbst are dueling. This is for 6th.
Jesse Love, that car still looks rough. He about spun the car off of 2, but he's working it there in that 6th position, front straightaway.
Work it, dude. Work it.
Oh, boy.
Austin Hill in turn 1, trying to get around the lap.
All right, Jesse.
Mason Maggio, and he'll do that with 15 laps to go here in this middle stage.
They have nothing but the 7 car, boys. 88's the 88 either playing mind games. Now Herbst getting back by Love for that 6th position as we try to steer this ship. Although when it's just the 2 of us, that can be hard. Here's Gray passing a teammate, Sawalich, back to turn 3. So give a spot to Taylor Gray.
Normally we steer it straight into the iceberg as Gray is able to pick up that 11th position. Sawalich, who started outside of the top 30, has done well to get into the top 15 here. The 18-year-old from Eden Prairie, Minnesota.
Someone else I know is from Eden Prairie, Minnesota. I'll have to look that up. But anyway, here's Brandon Jones trying to reel in Ryan Sieg back for that 9th position. Sieg keeping the spot. Jones trying to close in, but he really can't do it.
As Seth mentioned, a battle between Georgians. Ryan from Tucker, Brandon from Atlanta. As they cross the line, race back to turn 1. Jones closes in, has to back away as they go into the corner. Jones to the bottom, Sieg in the middle of the racetrack.
Indeed, as they work their way through turn 2. Oh, nearly contact there as Jones goes inside that city versus suburb. Tucker, one of the many suburbs of Atlanta. As Sieg and Jones acting like players playing for 9th.
Taylor Gray, thank you, is just in back of all of this. The rookie driver, Taylor Gray, from the Joe Gibbs Racing Stables from New Mexico, of course.
Well, up the hill goes Sieg.
Yeah, Sieg goes up the hill. Taylor, who just turned 20 in March.
Well, they get younger and younger in this series, don't they? Sieg and Jones continue to battle back there, and now it's a 3-car battle for 9th. And this is important here because of stage points, and we're down to 11 to go with the 2nd stage.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Sieg is 9th, Jones is 10th, Gray is just outside of those points-paying positions. They have to get around a lap machine, just as Austin Hill, the leader, does the same in turn 4, getting around Ryan Ellis, who spun at the end of lap 1. 10 laps to go in this stage, and Allgaier has backed away a bit from Austin Hill through lap traffic, Seth. Hill has built his lead to 0.6 of a second.
Indeed he has over Justin Allgaier. Then it's a full second gap. 0.4 from Allgaier to 3rd place Sheldon Creed. Then another 2.4 seconds before you get back to Nick Sanchez at 4th. 5th is Sam Mayer. Rest of the top 10, Riley Herbst, Jesse Love, Corey Day, Ryan Sieg, and Brandon Jones.
And if you're just joining us on USRN2 or JBM on YouTube, we had 3 cautions in that opening stage. Then, of course, a 4th yellow for when the stage ended. We've been lean and green here in this second stage, as we might have a change of 10th position here right in front of us on the main straightaway. Taylor Gray was able to work his way to the left elbow of Ryan Sieg, and they raced door to door in turns 1 and 2. Gray wrapping the bottom, trying to make this pass, Seth. Looks like he's done it.
Yeah, he has. That black and yellow 54 there, but old Sieg goes way to the inside. Aggressive move. Gray tried to shut the door. Sieg had good power, but Gray on the outside. Good surge in 3 and 4 to keep the spot.
All 4 of the Joe Gibbs racing cars are in the top dozen. Riley Herbst is 6th. Brandon Jones is 9th. Taylor Gray just made that pass for 10th, and the worst running of the JGR cars is in 12th with William Sawalich. So,
and the CW
so
listening to us.
Yeah, that's right. Good day so far for the JGR Supras.
Well, they have good days in this series more often than not, don't they? We might need to get a camera to the front because Allgaier apparently cut 4/10 off of Hill's lead last time.
Yeah, Allgaier has absolutely cut in, and of course these leaders are working their way through lap traffic here and having to tiptoe their way through, and that is what gave Hill the opportunity to extend the lead, and apparently that's what's given Allgaier a chance to close back in. So we'll try to get you for the lead, and here it is, off of turn 4 and screaming across the line with 6 laps to go here in this second stage. Allgaier is back to within a car length. They race to turn 1, Hill in the middle of the banking. Allgaier again is half a groove lower.
He sure is, half a groove lower as Allgaier goes to within a car length of Hill down the back straightaway. Allgaier's last lap was about a 10th faster than the leaders. Hill goes up the banking. Allgaier inside closes in for the top spot.
Well, these two at the top of the championship, of course, and at the top of the wins list this season. Stage win, very important for both. Allgaier already has one today. Hill trying to get one. There's a group of lap traffic dead ahead, Seth, with 2 of them running side by side.
Yep, that's Jeb Burton and Mason Massey trying to stay on the tail end of the lead lap, and Jeb's car's loose. Hill about a car length ahead of Allgaier on the approach to turn 3. Massey now slides up right in front of Hill. Hill takes a dart to the outside line. Allgaier follows.
Hill will hold off Allgaier at least for another lap as they come across the line. And now with these two getting blocked in a bit by traffic sets, Sheldon Creed has closed right in. Could be a 3-way battle, a 3-horse fight on this Derby Saturday.
Yes, indeed. Still a lot of furlongs to go, though, as Hill leads. Allgaier's second. Jeb Burton staying on the tail end of the lead lap in front of Hill. Hill gets a little bit loose. Allgaier, though, can't quite take advantage.
And, of course, there's no rule saying that Jeb Burton has to move out of the way. No blue flags here. He's trying to stay on the lead lap, but Hill has now opened up the door to the inside of Burton. Oh, and Hill gets loose in the middle of the corner. He picks it up. Allgaier's going to try to take advantage, but can he?
No, he can't. Allgaier goes inside of... He still can't even get around Jeb Burton. Yeah, he's stuck with him, so Hill's going to be able to regain some of the ground that he lost. Trouble. Chris Wright spins on the exit of turn 2 and onto the back straightaway. He does a complete 360, loops the America's Auto Auction number 5 red, white, and blue machine. He doesn't hit anything, but he spins out, and this stage is going to end under caution.
So the driver from Pittsburgh spins to put an early end to that dramatic race for the stage win. It is a well-timed yellow for Jeb Burton, who will get the free pass. Again, that's why he was racing so hard to keep that positioning. Chris, please don't pull across in front of traffic. Of course,
we call that pulling a Mayfield.
Of course, Chris was a part of one of the harder crashes we've had so far this year at Daytona, where drivers were coming down to pit road, and it just simply looked like he didn't even touch the brakes. And I mean, absolutely boilermakered over the top of a car in front of him. This spin looks like it came off the top of turn 2.
It did, yeah, he was way up the track at turn 2. And then a little kiss on the wall, and then a spin. Sam Mayer, or like, don't come up, man. There you go.
So Chris Wright brings out the yellow, and that's going to get Austin Hill the stage win. Won't have to fight off Allgaier and Creed. And for Hill, it will be his 6th stage win of the season. He has been stacking them up, mostly, of course, on the super speedways. In fact, he won both stages at Daytona and won both stages at Atlanta. And then, of course, last week, got a stage win and then won the race. So this will be his first non-super speedway stage win of the year, if you don't count, of course, him winning the race at Martinsville. So it'll be Hill, Allgaier, Creed, Sanchez, Mayer, Herbst, Love, Day, Jones, and Gray, your points-paying position drivers at the end of this second stage as they come off of Turn 4 behind the Chevrolet Corvette pace car. And they will come to complete lap 90. The final stage will be 110 laps strong. Stage flag is waving along with the yellow. Austin Hill scores the Stage 2 victory here in Texas. Trying to grab his 4th win of the season. Big country from Winston, Georgia. Out in front of the field as we close in on halfway and through Stage 2. So, Seth, what do you do at the end of Stage 2 on Saturdays? Can't do the hot lap, right?
Right. I guess we could go Wide World of Sports.
Sure. Let's do it.
You know it. All right. That's right. We're on JBM, so there's no music. Of course, you know about the basketball and hockey later tonight. Major League Baseball, few Saturday afternoon games. Yankees lead the Rays 2-1 in the top of the 8th inning at the Bronx. In that one, Aaron Judge hit a home run. Astros, White Sox, they're tied at 3 heading into the bottom of the 4th in that game. And they're scoreless bottom first between Cleveland and Toronto. Later today, Colorado plays at San Francisco, San Diego at Pittsburgh, Minnesota at Boston, the A's at Miami, Arizona at Philadelphia, Washington, Cincinnati, Seattle at Texas, Cubs at Brewers, Dodgers at Atlanta, Kansas City at Baltimore, and Detroit at the Angels. Mets-Cardinals was postponed. PGA Tour, the CJ Cup, Byron Nelson taking place today. Scotty Scheffler has a 6-stroke lead over Sam Stevens heading into 3rd round action. One golfer in the top 10 is already taken. Boy, that's Trey Mullinax. He's 1 under through 9 under for the tournament. Scheffler expected to tee off around 4:15 p.m. this afternoon. Earlier today in England, it was the final day of the championship season. Leeds clinched the championship title with a 2-1 win against Plymouth. Burnley beat Millwall 3-1. The final 2 playoff places went to Bristol City and Coventry City. The final relegation place went to Luton. Back-to-back relegations for the Hatters as they miss out on safety on goal difference after they were beaten 5-3 at West Bromwich Albion. In the Premier League today, Arsenal lost to Bournemouth. Everton drew with Ipswich. Leicester finally won a game. I would hope so. They were playing the only team worse than them, Southampton.
Now, Jamie Vardy scored, which is awesome, at the King Power Stadium.
Yes.
Old time's sake. And there was also quite a wonderful moment from him, too, earlier in that game. One of the referees went down and was extremely injured to the point of he could not blow the whistle to stop play. So Vardy was the one that tried to yell at everyone to stop play and actually went down to check on the referee, and while doing so, he picked up his whistle, blew the whistle for everyone to stop. That was very nice from Jamie Vardy as well, who has been one of my favorite players. Really has been.
If you believe the rumors, could be at Wrexham next season.
And they're going up to the Premier League within the next 3 years. And that's not just me saying that. Becky Baby, Rebecca Lowe, went on the Dan Patrick Show yesterday and said the same thing. And I mean, how could you not think that the way they're going?
If it means more Blake Lively at Premier League grounds, the Seth man's all for it.
Keep going, Seth, just keep going.
In La Liga, title race is taking a bit of a turn there. Barcelona trail 1-0 at bottom club Valladolid. Barcelona, of course, in a fight with Real Madrid. Real Madrid trying to get into that, trying to keep it going. They enter the day 4 points behind. Real Madrid play tomorrow, early kickoff, and I do mean early, 8 a.m. Eastern against Celta Vigo. Bayern Munich are going to have to wait a week to clinch the Bundesliga title. They drew 3-3 with Leipzig. In Serie A, Inter Milan lead Hellas Verona 1-0. Napoli beat Lecce 1-0. Remember, Serie A's got that situation where Inter and Napoli, if they're tied on the final day, they have a one-game playoff for the title. And no one else will care about this, but you'll get it, Matthew. And, well, Matthew's turned the mic off, so, I'm trying to figure out how to say it there, man. I don't know if Matthew can hear me or not. He's probably gone. Limestone University won the South Atlantic Conference Women's Lacrosse Tournament Championship, and if you know anything about that school, you know how big a deal that was earlier today in Matthews, North Carolina. Cars are on pit road. Sam Mayer is in. Andy's Frozen Custard 41. Nick Sanchez, right side tires in the 48. Haven't done a pit stop in a while. Justin Allgaier, Austin Hill. And Hill only slow getting to the left on that car. Sanchez down and away in 14.3. 14.4 for Allgaier. Hill's got that number one pit. Or no, he doesn't have the number one pit. Love has the number one pit. Hill's going to win the race off of pit road. It's going to be Hill, followed by Creed, Allgaier, Sanchez, Love, and Gray. So great work by the 21 team to get Austin Hill out of the pits first. And William Sawalich is going to have to go to the rear for an uncontrolled tire. So tough break for the driver of the 18 car. Of course, tomorrow, the NASCAR Cup Series at Texas. Carson Hocevar on the pole for that race tomorrow. That Chili 77 was some kind of fast in qualifying earlier today. By the way, Chili's is on Hocevar's car, so Chili's gets a pole, which we love because Matthew and I are big fans of Chili's. We're still waiting for that sponsorship deal. We can get some money. Chili's also was founded and headquartered in Dallas. So, pretty good stuff there. Of course, big day. Let's set the lineup again on the family of networks for today and tomorrow. Of course, we called it our super fast Game 7 weekend with the combination of racing and Game 7s. Here's what we have on tap for you tonight, as I get to the schedule, and tomorrow. Tonight, 7:30 USRN. NBA, Game 7 between the Clippers and the Nuggets. Then at 8 o'clock here on the Deuce, it's Game 7 between the Avalanche and the Stars. Tomorrow, a massive day. Starts at 1:30 Eastern here on the Deuce with the IndyCar Grand Prix of Alabama. Then at 3:30 on the main channel, the NASCAR Cup Series worth 400 from here at Texas. 4 Eastern, the first of 3 United States races for Formula One, the Miami Grand Prix at 4 o'clock. 7 o'clock here on the Deuce. Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Playoff Series between the Blues and the Jets. 8:30 USRN Maine. Game 7 between Golden State and Houston. Matthew is back. And I don't know if you heard it or not, Matthew, but I had to mention, I sent it to you via the Instagram. I had to send it to you about Limestone Lacrosse winning their conference championship earlier today.
Very good. Very good indeed.
And I just got your text message, and yeah, we're having the same problem here. And
I mean, wow, it just all at once.
Here at Studio G, but yeah,
Anyway, thank you for that. Get everything settled up here, and now we'll take this 30-second opportunity to catch our breath.
Gordon Johncock was on his way to certain victory in 1977, but then fate intervened and the four-time Winners Club was officially opened.
Johncock has pulled over to the left side of the straightaway. He appears to be slowing. He has cut his car in off of the apron at the south end of the main straightaway. A.J. Foyt is now our leader. A.J. Foyt down the main straightaway. The checkered flag is out. A.J.'s hand in the air. He is the winner. A.J. Foyt at Indianapolis has won his fourth 500-mile race.
The greatest spectacle in racing, the Indianapolis 500, this May on USRN.
Well, we love
3
that
weeks
event.
away.
Yeah, we love that event so very much, and we're so proud, so happy, so thrilled to be doing it one more time on Mixlr, of course, Seth. Can't wait to get there to the track next weekend, the Grand Prix, Sancio Grand Prix, next Saturday, and then, of course, time trials the weekend after, a ton of practice before then, and then, of course, the 500-mile race in 22 days.
I can't wait.
It is the event that we just so adore, and yeah, just can't wait for it. Every single year, it's a hugely exciting time for us, and of course, we're going to bring you the Grand Prix next week. We're going to bring you all those practice sessions through our friends here at JBM on YouTube, and then we'll have the time trials, which are always so exciting, and then the race itself, which of course is another and one of the last big days on that Memorial Day weekend set, the Monaco, Indianapolis, and Charlotte, which we'll have all three for you. But of course, with Monaco moving on the calendar here sometime soon, one of the Joshes would know if that's next year or the year after. We won't have that Monaco, Indianapolis, Charlotte triple for much longer.
No, we will not. Which is a shame for all the gearheads out there.
That is.
Field double. What now?
Yeah, it really is. It is the one day where you had all three of the big three running Crown Jewel events. It's really a shame.
Field doubled up to get started for the final stage. Austin Hill, Sheldon Creed, Justin Allgaier, Nick Sanchez, Jesse Love, the top five. Then it's Taylor Gray, Corey Day, Riley Herbst, Sam Mayer, Kyle Larson, couple shirtless guys waving their shirts. Matthew, take us back to green.
As it is at all of the SMI racetracks at the Echo Park Automotive Restart Zone, Brett Dalton puts the green flag in the air, and we're racing again, and there's trouble. Josh Williams gets turned head-on into the wall by one car. That was Anthony Alfredo, and others scatter. Nick Lights to the bottom of the racetrack goes spinning along with Garrett Smidley. Once again, there was a car that put the left front of the car in the grass. It stacked everyone up, and it's another jam session. Right rear damage to Sam Mayer. Catherine Legg has gone spinning.
Taylor Gray had a lot of damage coming by the back straightaway and some smoke from the left front of his car.
Unbelievable. I mean, when it happens once, fine, but that's now the second time in this race and the third time this weekend. Wow. Josh Williams got the most of that, it would seem, as he nosed head-on into the wall in that Colleague number 11. We mentioned Sam Mayer with right rear damage. I mentioned Garrett Smidley went spinning. There he is on the apron of turn 3. And as you mentioned, Seth, Taylor Gray, he got beat up a little bit on this. I'm not sure who it was that went down to the grass. It was one of the front-running cars. It's Carson Quaffle.
Yeah.
Quaffle went down there, and then Williams went down there too.
Okay, real quick though. He hit the grass. The reason he hit the grass, he had to check up because Taylor Gray and Corey Day made contact, ran into each other.
Right. And then everybody starts checking up, and there's nowhere to go. But I mean, when the left front and that splitter dug into the grass, it just destroyed pieces of Josh Williams' car. And Carson Quaffle, I think, has pretty good damage, too. So this has now happened 3 times this weekend. Last night in the truck race, it was during normal green flag racing. It's happened twice today on restarts. My goodness. So a jam session on this restart claims about 5 or 6. And of course, as you know well, Seth, boy, the first couple of times we came to Texas, 97 and 98, we just could not get through the start of the races without having a big wad up.
I agree. And I remember one of the first times I ever heard cautions breed cautions as a kid was the Cup Series race here back in 2004 when they had just the one a year. 2004 were, God, the last 50 laps, it felt like everybody was crashing. I'm sure you remember that.
Yeah.
That's a race where, of course, Johnny Slaughter made a nuisance of himself.
Well, a sign of things to come.
Oh, yeah.
From that member of the Sauter Racing clan from Necedah, Wisconsin. And of course, one of the many races where Casey Kane could have, should have, would have won as a rookie. I mean, there is an alternate universe out there where Casey Kane won 5 times as a rookie in 2004.
Yeah, and he could have been a championship contender, too.
I mean, we're talking, what, Rockingham, Texas, Michigan, Charlotte. Those are 4 right there.
Didn't he have a good run in the Southern 500, too, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, you're right. Michigan, I still stand by he would have passed Ryan Newman at Michigan had they not thrown that yellow for the Stanton Barrett crash. Now, we're getting very inside baseball here. We do have to remember, I have to remind myself all the time, Seth, we do have to remember when we start, waxing poetically about 2004, there's a group of people out there listening to us asking, why the hell are they talking about 21 years ago? And then we feel old again.
Where's the inside baseball line come from? Because they do that too, I guess.
Oh yeah. Inside baseball, yeah, that's kind of a term. We're getting into the weeds.
Oh, gotcha. He had 14 top 10s that year, Kane. 13th in points. He won 4 poles.
It's ridiculous.
He led 43 laps at Vegas and finished second. He led 24 laps at Darlington, finished 13th. He led 148 in that Texas race. He led 77 at Fontana from pole, finished 13th. Led 36 laps at that was the other one, Dover.
There you go. That's the one. And Fontana too. He was battling.
And Chicago.
Oh, and Chicago. Yeah, he got dumped by Tony, and the pit crews fought.
Led 30. BP, there's a big fight here. Thank you, Matt, for interjecting yourself. 31 laps at New Hampshire in the first chase race and finished 4th. And then, of course, I actually had forgotten. I sometimes I forget that it was this good, that he was this good. I forget to realize on occasion at Charlotte, that race, the fall race, he led 207 laps that night.
Right, and he was going to lap the field, and then he cut down a tire. Yeah.
Boy, those 2 Charlotte races that year had domination spells. One finished the job, one did not.
And see, that 2004 season, again, all this is a rookie for Casey in that season.
Might be the worst thing that happened to him because,
exactly, because then everybody goes into 2005 like, well, he's got to finish these things, right? He's got to win multiple times.
He did win once.
Year, and he's going to be the next bright star that's going to win multiple championships and 50, 60 races, and then you could make the case 2004 was one of his 3 best seasons of his Cup career, and he just never won.
It was what, 04, 06, and 12, probably, wouldn't you say?
Right. 06, of course, is when it's when they turned things around. When he turned things around and was winning a lot but couldn't stay consistent.
Had 6 wins that year. He won once in 05, 6 in 06, 2 in 08, 2 in 09, 1 in 11, 2-12, 2-13, 1-14, 1-17. 529 starts, 18 wins, 93 top fives, 176 top tens, 27 poles. His best points finish 4th in 2012. He was 13th in 04, 23rd in 05, 8th in 06, 19th in 07, 14th in 08, 10th in 09, 20th in 10, 14th in 11, 4th in 12, 12th in 13, 15th in 14, 18th in 2015, 17th in 2016, 15th in 2017, and 30th in 2018, where he was with an underfunded team and missed the last 11 races because of an injury. And then, of course, in 2019, I saw him at a Mooresville Target. And I'm not exaggerating either. I actually did see him at a Mooresville Target.
I have to say, and this, of course, we're talking about Casey Kane, who ran 2 weeks ago here in this series at Rockingham, finished 14th. This morning, I thought at the Lowe's in Winston-Salem on Stratford, I saw Greg Popovich, but most certainly did not.
I was going to say, that's the difference. So you're trying to be sarcastic. I legitimately did see him. It had to be him.
I should have taken a picture. I really should have taken a picture and sent it to you.
So you did see a Greg Popovich?
Yeah, I thought I saw Greg Popovich, yes, but it obviously was not Greg Popovich. He's dealing with things that would keep him from being at a Lowe's in Winston-Salem.
He is the new El Presidente of basketball operations in San Antonio. I have one question to that. Does that come with a lifetime supply of free churros?
He wishes he could be president of something else, but we'll move on from that. By the way, as we get ready for the restart, we got a comment from Jake in the YouTube chat on JBM. Says, appreciate you guys. No TV coverage at all here. Glad to have you along, Jake. And everyone else listening on...
Sorry for the stupidity, but that's just common nature around here.
It is. Glad to have everyone with us as we come to the restart here, with Austin Hill and Justin Allgaier again on the front row, and the green flag is thrown up again by Brett Dalton, and it's a dead even start, nose to nose between Hill and Allgaier, racing into the banking of turns 1 and 2. Allgaier keeps his foot in and around the top, and Seth, there he goes.
Justin Allgaier with the fast car. Whoa! Sheldon Creed spins in the middle of the pack. Creed's gonna slam the inside wall, driver's side. No one else involved. Sheldon Creed, though, a good run, goes bad again as that Road Ranger Ford smacks the inside wall. And Jesse Love has damage in front of you, Matthew, as does Corey Day.
Both of those blue and white cars, Love in number 2, Day in number 17, with damage. It was Love who scraped the outside wall when he was running with Creed at turn 2. I'm not sure where Corey Day got his damage from. Yet another yellow in this race. Talked about all the yellows we had in this race last year at 7. And we certainly talked about all the yellows we had in the Cup race here last year at 16. This is caution number 7 of today's race, with still better than 90 laps to go. Well, see if we can dissect what happened here, Seth. This all happened in row 2 with Love and Creed, and then Day just behind.
Well, I think Day gets into Creed. And Creed slammed into Love.
Oh, what a job by Kyle Larson to miss it.
So Matthew, there's 3 cars make contact. Jesse Love makes Sheldon Creed, Corey Day make contact. 2 of them continue. 1 hit the inside wall. Gee, are you really surprised which one hit the inside wall?
Indeed. Yeah, and it was Creed that kind of drifted up into the left front of Day. They got connected. That turned Creed up into Love. Love shot up into the wall, and Creed ricocheted down into a spin. I really wouldn't put that on Corey Day. I really wouldn't put it on anybody.
I wouldn't either.
Just a racing
I know you
accident.
don't like this term, but I think that's the true definition of a racing accident.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, no, I don't dislike the term. I just like... You wouldn't exactly call it a golf incident, wouldn't you? No, it's a racing incident, because guess what we're doing? We're racing.
Yeah, well, when you put it that way.
I just like how it gets used sometimes. But yes, it's a racing incident. Exactly right. Let's listen in.
I don't know, 17 was all set from the 2, just got in your quarter panel. So he's tired of inexperienced gets out of this.
I think it just sounds like a guy who's just frustrated that he still can't get a win in this series.
Right. And, of course, we don't say that as if to say Sheldon Creed sucks.
Exactly.
A guy that just finds ways not to win due to just the most unique circumstances. Again, this guy's finished second 14 times, but he's never won. That's just ridiculous. So a 7th caution, and we've only completed half the race, 105 of the 200 laps. Sam Mayer is going to come to pit road after suffering damage from the last caution. Joey Gase is also in. Wow.
Man.
By the way, if Jake is still with us in the chat section, if you don't mind me asking, Jake, where you're watching from, being that you've said there's no coverage at all here. Don't know if you're somewhere beyond the states or if you're somewhere in the states where the local CW network is not carrying the race. The CW, this is its first full season covering NASCAR and carrying every race of the Xfinity Series season this year, and they've had really good numbers. Viewership has been up, which thank goodness for that, because it's those ratings that is masking some issues that they've had where local CW stations are not carrying the race in some markets. And, of course, there's been those stories throughout the year. And then, of course, Seth, you might remember the horror story of the Phoenix race earlier this year. At Phoenix race, it came down to a side-by-side fender-banging finish at the checkered flag, and just as the leaders took the white flag, the CW market in Atlanta went to a commercial break so they could show an exhibition Braves baseball game.
That sounds about on par for that city, if you know what I mean.
So
you were thinking it, so I figured I'd say it for you.
So, hopefully we are getting those.
Now I hope he's now watch. He's going to be from Atlanta and lead the broadcast. How much you want to bet?
So hopefully we're getting those issues resolved with the CW, which is putting together great shows every weekend. The direction, the production, the booth, the graphics, it's all very, very nice indeed from the CW. Or as Jim Nance called it, the crosswalk.
Did he really?
He did. He did.
Oh my God.
Of course, that was when, the CW was airing Live. And
yeah. Okay,
so,
now I get it.
Yeah. So, yeah. Little, you never know, Jim Nance every now and again, he'll get snarky. A little snarky from Nancy.
Oh God.
If we're gonna
I just like what he said a Mimi one time.
If we're gonna keep getting yellows at this rate, you're gonna get a lot of lines from us.
That's the truth.
Oh, heavens to Betsy. Well, a lot of the southeast has been hit with some heavy rains here today, including in Louisville, Kentucky, at the site of the 151st Kentucky Derby. But here in Texas, after quite a bit of rain yesterday, which knocked out qualifying for the trucks and Xfinity, has been a very beautiful Saturday, and
look out,
forecast
Sheldon.
to be tomorrow as well. Cup race here at Texas. Coverage on USRN tomorrow starts at 3 p.m. Eastern Time for the Worth 400. The SMI racetracks they've taken the sponsors of the Texas and Dover races and swapped them out on us this year, Seth. The Worth 400 at Dover goes to Texas, and the Auto Trader Echo Park Automotive 400 at Texas goes to Dover.
Okay. Taylor Gray, too fast exiting.
So it becomes the Worth 400 tomorrow at Texas. By the way, speaking of Dover, that got moved in the schedule this year. Have you ever known of us going to Dover in July? That's going to be hot. That is going to be a hot weekend.
Yeah, for most of my life, the first, well, it's the only Dover race now, but I've always known Dover to be May or June. The one exception was the COVID year, 2020. We ran there in August.
And, of course, for so much, it was the first race after the 600.
Yeah, I missed those. I don't know why. It was something about going to... It's one of those weird tradition things I kind of miss, but...
Yeah, we reshuffled some dates here on the Cup side. Well, and, of course, Xfinity, too. Dover now is a July race. You know what else is a July race, Seth? Talking of being hot. Going to Sonoma, July 13th. Pack the sunscreen. And then we're going to Iowa for a 3:30 Eastern time race in August.
Who in the hell thought that was a good idea?
Also, very hot that will be.
And let me just say this. This comes from the voice of the guy who likes his weather warm. I'm just saying, the guys in the cars that day are going to be gasping for any kind of beverages by the time that race is over.
Yeah, 2:30 local at Iowa on August 3rd.
Who thought that was a good idea?
Of course, that was a night race last year on Father's Day weekend.
That's not a bad idea.
Of course, Father's Day this weekend will be in Mexico City at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez.
Oh boy. Oh God, this is you know, you and the Spanish is becoming your Charles and San Antonio deal.
Hola, ¿cómo está? No,
How do they say? Hey Chuck, how they say how it's time to drop the hammer in Spanish?
By the way, that June stretch of races is very eclectic. The 4 races that we have in June: Michigan, Mexico, Pocono, Atlanta. All I know is 3 of those tracks end in a vowel. I had to buy a vowel, Pat. Of course, Michigan is not on the Xfinity schedule, which is very sad. You know what I can't wait to do this year, with us picking up every Xfinity race as we get one to go? I can't wait for August 30th in prime time on that Saturday to do the Portland race. We've never done that race here on this network. So we'll get to do the Xfinity race at Portland, August 30th in prime time, 7:30 p.m.
That's late.
Eastern. Yeah.
That's later than normal.
Actually,
oh my God! Of course, the Xfinity series now. It's so funny the way these series work out. The Xfinity series is off for a couple of weeks after today.
Right.
The Truck series, they are started their longest stretch of the season.
Yeah, 6 straight races they're going without an off weekend truck because they'll be at North Wilkesboro too.
Except for the restart on lap 112 of 200. Allgaier and Hill in the front row. Then Sanchez, Larson, Brandon Jones, Ryan Sieg, Harrison Burton, Leland Honeyman. He's worked his way to the top 10. Matt DiBenedetto and William Solowich.
By the way, I see in the on the YouTube, as they've waved off the restart, I see on YouTube that a lot of people are watching at this very moment. So I don't know whether that means that we need to get serious or if we need to keep up the Chucklehead Hour because we're bringing in the viewers. If you can believe
I just say what we always say. We bring in a good mixture of the serious and stupidity. I hate to sound arrogant, but I think we do it better than anybody else. Of course, better than anybody else in these United States. These United States, that was my salesman alter ego name when I worked in Huntsville, Alabama.
Well, and of course, with it being on JBM, that's these different countries.
Oh yes, this planet Earth.
Very good. There you go. This planet Earth. This planet Earth is brought to you by David Attenborough, who I just adore.
I know you do.
We had the Americas on NBC over here. Tom Hanks. You know, Tom Hanks did a fine job, but it's just not the same without David Attenborough.
Yeah, you were into that. You're into some David Attenborough. I know that.
Try the
Are we on JB
restart
Motorsports 1 or 2? I think we're on the OG JB Motorsports.
I don't know. I think it's just one.
I see the
channel.
live stream now.
Yeah, I think it's just one channel with multiple broadcasts.
I love how JB Motorsports puts in that thing there in the live commentary from Matthew Owens and Seth Ease at USRN. That makes me feel important for some reason.
Now the Chevrolet Corvette pace car pulls off, and we're ready for another restart. Brett Dalton puts the green flag in the air, and we're racing again here at Texas. Justin Allgaier on the inside of row 1, a nose in front of Austin Hill. They race into the corner, door handle to door handle. Now Allgaier with a slight advantage. Hill's going to try to stick it in around the outside, but he goes way high.
Indeed, he does. The other car goes way up the hill in the back of the pack. That's Sam Mayer with a wounded race car. Allgaier to the lead. Sanchez second. Hill third. Larson powers around the outside to get the fourth spot from Brandon Jones.
Comes out of turn 4. Allgaier still in front. They're still trying to settle it out. All the 2 and 3 wide racing in the middle of the pack. Looks like they've done a pretty good job at it this time in a race that's already been slowed 7 times for caution.
Here's Larson to the inside of Hill, going for that third position. Is he making a move? Is he starting to show his hand as we get into the final stages of this race? Larson makes mincemeat of Hill. Hill now feeling the heat from Brandon Jones.
Racing back onto the main straightaway. Jones right underneath the spoiler of the Austin Hill automobile. The Darlington winner, Jones, has been running extremely well since getting that Darlington win. Nothing better than a bit of confidence, huh?
Oh, boy, you're talking to the right guy on that one. And we're not talking about racing either, as Brandon Jones goes into the... Meanwhile, William Sawalich sideways. Daniel Dye battles him. Jeremy Clements back there with Matt DiBenedetto.
Yeah, Jeremy Clements, Matt DiBenedetto. We haven't talked about Clements
at all. He had a pit penalty
today.
earlier, Clements.
Yeah, we haven't talked about him at all today, but he's worked his way into the top 15. Parker Retzlaff has as well. That's the Viking Motorsports entry for DiBenedetto in car 99.
Skull to the front. As DiBenedetto, oh boy, yeah, he scored a big block, that's for sure, on Jeremy Clements on the approach to turn 3. My gosh, that was a bold move, but it worked out. Everybody's A-OK.
Corey Day with damage at the tail end of this line, trying to get up there. He's worked his way back to 17th after taking some front-end damage from that last accident that he was involved in with Sheldon Creed and the other one, Jesse Love. There we go. Thank you.
Yeah, the other guy. There's always one other guy in every chat or everything. Anyway, here's Leland Honeyman. What a day he's having.
Yeah, he's having a really good day. He was born in Phoenix, Arizona. He spent a lot of his life in Texas as Honeyman. So kind of a quasi-home race for him. I mean, if Martin Truex Jr. could have 27 home races, Leland could have a couple, and he's running in the 9th position.
Indeed he is. Sawalich now trying to stay tucked in behind Honeyman. Now looking to go to the inside of him. He's trying to make a move. He doesn't want to stay tucked in behind him. That was a Rick Allen moment. Cut me off.
And, of course, Honeyman driving for the Derek Cope team. They need as many good runs as they can get in that 70 car, and they're getting some here in the first part of the season, holding off William Sawalich for now at 9th.
Indeed. And now here's Sawalich again, trying to go to the inside. And he stays tucked in behind Honeyman. Honeyman's going to keep the spot. Good run for Honeyman.
Now Sawalich tries to cross over underneath him here at the line. Can't find the racing room he needs to do so. Meanwhile, at the front, Seth, Justin Allgaier by a 2 3/4 ahead of Nick Sanchez, who at least for now has been able to hold off Kyle Larson.
Indeed. So he has done a good job of keeping him at bay, but it's all Allgaier at the front. Lead of about 2 seconds.
Austin Hill radio saying his car is the worst it's been all day. Backslid on the restart, and the Stage 2 winner now finds himself 4th, 4 seconds off the lead.
Indeed. So Larson now trying to put the bullseye on Nick Sanchez for that number 2 position. Sanchez drifts up high. Larson trying to close in.
Big Machine Racing 48 car has been fast all day long for Nick Sanchez. As we mentioned, a new look for that car. It's not the creamsicle orange and white look that we normally get. They've got Borchetta Bourbon on the hood and quarter panels of that car, which has a gold brass kind of look to it today with black numbers and white trim.
Indeed. As they work through the corner, and Sanchez, something about that car just looks like it would go very fast, and it's been pretty fast today, it has to be said.
It has. Honestly, it's not too terribly far away from the Chrome Illusion 24. That, of course, won at Darlington a couple of years ago with William Byron and should have won the Winston in 1998. The Winston with Jeff Gordon.
Yes, where Darrell Waltrip had those glasses and Michael said he should get out of them and made Eli Gold about fall out of the booth. Then again, a lot got that crew out of back in the day.
I'm the Eli. That's the Donald. You just heard from the Buddy. And we'll leave Dick Berggren out of that. Catherine Legg is slow in turn 2.
Oh, it's a shame. Sanchez high off of 2. Oh, now they cut back. Now Larson just blew by Sanchez. Yeah, Sanchez just went way up the track, and Larson took advantage. And now 7 and 88. Let's see how good that Allgaier car really is. Legg is still slow in the backstretch. This might cause a caution.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of damage to the left front there. The Guildford, England native.
Yeah, I think there's a tire that's gone down there for Cat, trying to limp it back to pit road. William Sawalich on the move again. Seth, he finally got around to Benedetto.
Indeed he does. And he just got by Jeb Burton as well.
So that's 8th now for Sawalich, who has had a really tough start to his rookie season. He's been caught up in a lot not of his own doing. Speaking of Catherine Legg, of course, it was her and Sawalich that got twisted up in turn 1 at Rockingham that caused a whole lot of conversation. It's just been a rough start for Sawalich, who was, good Lord, so dominant in ARCA last year. Of course, Seth and myself, we called one of Sawalich's many ARCA wins last year, didn't we, Seth? That tremendous race at Elko up at his home state of Minnesota.
Oh, yes! Race Club. That's right. We did do that.
Home state of Minnesota win for him. Let's catch up downstairs. Sheldon Creed.
For our Road Ranger Ford Mustang, for the first time in a while, I felt like I was a good restart and getting the lead away from having a shot at winning, and that was a really good feeling. Just felt really good in the car, and yeah, I don't know, I missed the beginning of that, but I was focused on racing the 2. He was pretty close to my door, and I think the 17 was just trying to not poke middle, but just was down a lane and got me in the right rear first. So I don't know, just frustrating. 3 out of 4 weeks now getting wrecked. So proud of everyone at Haas Factory Team. I feel like this was the first week where the car drove really good. Maybe because we didn't have practice to let me mess it up. So at least we're headed in the right direction. Get a couple weeks off to reset and come back swinging.
Sheldon.
And that's a team that would really just like to get some good luck here because, as he said, he's been running really well and just getting caught up in a lot of messes, down to 10th in the championship standings coming in, and with Ryan Sieg and Harrison Burton running 6th and 7th as we speak, those two very well could jump him, and if they do, Creed would be down to 12th in the championship standings, and as we know, Seth, only 12 drivers make the Xfinity playoffs. That would put him on the playoff bubble, obviously with a lot of time still left to go in the regular season, but we know how important points are.
Indeed. Points are valuable because if you want to win a championship, well, first you got to make the playoffs. That's kind of how that works.
Yeah,
but
right.
Jeb Burton tries to reel in Sawalich back there at 8th, and he's feeling the heat himself. Jeb is from the Riley Herbst automobile.
Yeah, Riley and that Monster Energy 19 stepping down from the Cup Series into an Xfinity ride this weekend. 3 Xfinity wins in the last couple of years for Riley, and Corey Day's right there too, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Keeping a solid day going in that blue and white 17, and boy, he goes way to the outside of Riley Herbst. Nearly touched him on the back straightaway. Day's going to make the move, or is he? Herbst coming back? No, Day's going to go inside.
Ooh, and Herbst comes right back at him. Boy, did he nail the accelerator on the exit of the corner, did Riley. Gets right back alongside Corey Day, who is dealing with some left front damage after that incident with Creed and Love. But Day keeps his foot in and around the outside and trying to go around the outside of a lap car, too.
Yeah, that's not just a lap. That's a very slow car, but they get by. And Corey Day now setting his sights on Jeb Burton to try and crack inside the top 10.
Jeb, of course, the runner-up last week, looking for back-to-back top 10s, which would be quite the accomplishment for Jeb in that 27 car for the Jordan Anderson team. As let's pick up the leaders on the course coming out of Turn 4. Justin Allgaier's advantage on Kyle Larson. We'll call it at the line 15 car lengths, as Allgaier works his way around a couple more of the lapped vehicles, including the 91 of Josh Bilicki, which has been all over the place today.
Yeah, he was all over the groove there coming out of turn number 2. And Larson now might use this as a chance to close in. He has got it to less than a second. Larson now has to get around the 2 moving chicanes, while Allgaier's got a clear racetrack. Larson goes top to bottom. Goodness me, only Kyle Larson can do that and get away with it.
Like a hot knife through butter around the outside of Mason Maggio, then down the inside of Josh Bilicki. Made the pass and didn't lose any time. Incredible from Kyle Larson.
Incredible indeed. Still about 9 car lengths back of Justin Allgaier. Allgaier gets past the Ryan Ellis automobile. Let's watch see how Larson passes Ellis, huh? It is Allgaier, though, who still has the comfortable lead as he exits 4.
And, of course, Larson slicing his way through lap traffic, nothing new for us. A couple of weeks ago, we watched him do that brilliantly at Bristol in both the Xfinity and Cup races. That's why he dominated both of those races. He just got through the lap traffic so much better than everyone else. Allgaier off turn 2, Seth, getting around Blaine Perkins, and Larson's coming.
He sure is. Gaps down to about 6 car lengths as they approach turn number 3. It's Allgaier first, Larson second. It's a Junior Motorsports reunion at the front.
They'll get around the outside of the Pittsburgh driver Chris Wright out of turn 4. We'll keep an eye on that fight for the lead, or what might turn into a fight for the lead. Let's pick up just outside the top 10, Seth. Jeremy Clements is still hanging around.
He is, and he is way up the banking, leaves the bottom open for Sam Mayer. But Mayer can't take advantage of it.
Meanwhile, Larson just continuing to stalk Allgaier. Larson's yet to lead today. Remember, went all the way from, 20th on the grid to 2nd at the end of stage 1, then had a pit road penalty that put him back at the tail end of the field. He's charged back up to 2nd again, Seth, and now he's closing in on the leader.
Yeah, boy, he has eat Allgaier up. Allgaier, he's been the class of the field today, but he's about to get a serious test of those credentials from Kyle Larson. 2 car lengths, maybe down to 1 car length by the time they exit 4.
And again, another group of traffic that they're going to have to maneuver around. The first car up is Mason Massey for Alpha Prime Racing. Massey's going to hook the bottom in turns 1 and 2. This is about 5 slower cars just in front of the 2 leaders.
Allgaier gets past the first 2 who give way, so he goes by them with ease. Now Larson has to deal with him. Allgaier still has about 3 more cars directly in front of him, and 2 of them are now side by side with each other.
Yeah, one of those is Anthony Alfredo, who is still on the lead lap. He's running wheel to wheel with Kyle Sieg. And in fact, both of those cars are also on the tail end of the lead lap, Alfredo and Sieg. And Allgaier goes high and gets hung up behind Kyle Sieg just a bit here in turn 2.
He does get by Sieg. Now will he have a run to get to the bottom of Alfredo? Not yet. Now he does go to the inside, and Justin Allgaier gets by Alfredo. Next on the hit parade would be car number 44.
That's Brennan Poole, who Allgaier closes right up in on underneath the spoiler of yet another Alpha Prime car. He'll peel to the inside of Poole, who will yield, but Larson, trying to keep it up top in turn 2, is right in the tire tracks of Poole.
Larson now to the inside of Brennan Poole. Larson now makes the move by Poole and goes into turn number 3. Allgaier opens up the groove a half a bit, and he keeps Larson behind.
60 laps to go, and when they come to the line, and they cross it now, 59 laps left. Justin Allgaier once again has been the dominant force at Texas. He's led 87 laps here this afternoon, but his lead is a tenuous one.
Meanwhile, Corey Day loses. Riley Herbst is very slow. Riley Herbst off the pace. Corey Day was trying to pass Jeb Burton, saw Herbst slow, and about ran over Herbst. So, it cost him big time. Day, that is.
And Herbst on pit road. We have not seen green flag pit stops today. A lot of that is because the first 2 stages were only 45 laps long, but Riley is on pit road here. Kim Kuhn is down there watching the stop.
Goodyear tires, slight adjustment, snow globe fuel, and he is done with this pit stop.
Battle for the lead heading to turn 3.
Larson on the inside will try to take the lead from Allgaier, and he'll make the pass stick. Allgaier, though, comes back up as Larson washes up. Larson's loose. He touches Allgaier. Allgaier keeps the lead by about a car length.
And there was definitely contact between those two. JRM teammates Kelly Earnhardt Miller had to be watching through her 2 hands that were probably covering her eyes right there, Seth. My goodness.
He had a great run off of 2 and got to the lead. But by the time he approached turn 3, he washed up, got a little loose, and then Allgaier kept it going straight. And when Larson wobbled, there was contact. I don't think there was enough there to make any significant damage for either car, but boy, it hurt Larson's momentum big time.
And of course, you never know with these Xfinity Series cars either what could cut down a tire and what might not in the Cup Series. These 2 cars completely different from Xfinity to Cup. But so far, no tire rub, no fender rub has developed on either car. But whoo, that was a scary moment for everyone involved there, for the drivers, the teams, and most certainly Miss Kelly, the owner. Meanwhile, William Sawalich is on pit road. And tires being changed on the 18.
The race, the crew on the right side, they'll put 4 fresh Goodyear tires on that machine. William just complaining, gets a little tight on exit as they continue fuel service on this car.
Off of pit road goes the 18.
Stop it!
As the leaders go to 3. And Chris Wright! Oh!
No! Oh, God, Chris Wright! Allgaier and Larson both nearly ran over him. This is like watching an old truck race with these moving chicanes.
Oh, the Pittsburgh driver very much getting in the way there. And I'm sorry, that's not the first time we could say that about him this year. Oh, jeez.
Hey, what is he doing?
I mean, he is running 30 miles an hour off the pace right in the middle of the racetrack. Oh, Lord. Nearly wiped out 3 cars. Nearly wiped out Justin, Kyle, and Riley Herbst. Oh, Lord. Here come the leaders off of turn 4. None of these leaders hitting pit road yet with 53 laps to go. Sawalich and Herbst, the only one of the lead lap cars that have come down pit road in this run under green. Allgaier's lead off turn 2, Seth. We'll call it 4 car lengths.
4 car lengths, the lead for Justin Allgaier over Kyle Larson on the approach to turn number 3. Here is Allgaier now in the middle groove. He keeps a steady hand on the wheel, and he'll lead another again.
You have to keep a steady hand on the wheel to get by some of these lappers. My goodness.
That's very true.
What a mess that's become the last few laps, picking their way through some of these slower cars. Now, Riley Herbst on fresh tires, Seth's going to get around Larson, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I had a brain fart. No, he's not there. I had a brain freeze for a minute.
Because of all that Andy's frozen custard up there. Ryan Sieg is on pit road.
There you go.
But he's had a solid day running right outside the top 5. They will make a track bar adjustment. You see right there, 4 fresh Goodyear tires, Sunoco fuel for the 39 of Ryan Sieg, Dylan.
Harrison Burton is in a little bit further down pit road as well. He started this run free, but then it started to build back tight on him throughout the course of this run. They'll change 4 tires and add fuel to the 25. He's been inside the top 10 most of the day.
Schedule.
So, Burton, Harrison that is, clears pit road for what should be the final stop of the day for all
Harrison
of these
Burton
drivers.
clears pit road!
Turns right onto the track. So these should be the last stops of the day for these guys, unless there's another caution, which might bring some folks down pit road. Jeb is in.
Only one of them after a penalty early. They'll take 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Just snug has been the trend for that car today.
So both of the Burtons clearing pit road here with 50 laps to go. Jesse Love hits pit road, and Kyle Larson's in. So Larson from second, Nick Sanchez from third. Hits pit road. Allgaier still on the track.
That's bounced between free and tight all day long. Most recently, though, Kyle telling the team it's back to loading tight. That's his biggest problem. He needs that car just to turn a little bit better. You see the chassis wrench in the back of that race car as they put on 4 fresh Goodyear tires and take Sunoco fuel, Dylan.
Jesse Love is in as well. Remember, they pitted and had multiple stops for that damage on the 2 car. Car's been pretty good. Jesse said he felt fine, just a little bit draggy, but he's been able to drive it back inside the top 10. They'll pit for 4 tires and fuel as well.
Well, they didn't give a report on the driver that's actually running third, Nick Sanchez, but he's off pit road too. Matt DiBenedetto was in the pits this time around. Austin Hill, who was running fourth and jumped to second through the pit stop cycle, comes in. We will wait to see how long it takes for Justin Allgaier to bring the lead car to pit road, and actually it looks like he'll do that now. Hard on the binders and coming off the banking out of turn 4 comes Allgaier to pit lane. Hill's in his box.
In the back window to make a chassis adjustment. Expect they'll make an air pressure adjustment as well to try to get this 21 car sorted out for Austin Hill. Brandon Jones in as well. He felt like he didn't have any front grip at the start of the run, but it started to come back to him. He's been inside the top 5, and right of the screen, Allgaier is in as well.
Justin Allgaier making his pit stop 1 lap after Kyle Larson. So how will this...
They were slow on the right rear of the 7.
Earlier, getting those fresher tires pay off for driver 88. Now, this won't be the battle for the lead right now, but it will be once everything cycles through.
It was not the cleanest of stops from the 7 team. They were slow on the right rear, which meant they had to wait on the left rear. And as Allgaier exits pit road, Seth, Kyle Larson blasts past him. Larson's not only going to take the lead, he's going to have a huge lead.
And that might have just, for some people, might have killed the entertainment value of the remaining 46 laps. Oh, my goodness. Disaster in the 7th pit, and as Larson goes by the Kyle Sieg automobile, just blows by on the exit of 4.
So, Justin Allgaier, who's led 99 laps today, just 1 lap shy of leading at least 100 laps for the 3rd time in his career at Texas, has found weird ways to lose Texas races in the past. May have just lost it on pit road. Still a long way to go. Sam Mayer, through the cycle of stops, now leads. We're still waiting on 8 drivers to come to pit road. Mayer, Dye, Gray, Clements, Honeyman, Smith, Alfredo, and Poole are the drivers we're waiting on to hit pit road. And as Sam Mayer leads this race, Seth, he becomes just the 3rd leader. And Allgaier is spun! He ran over Chris Wright, and Allgaier's hit the wall on the main straightaway. The dominant car of the day is crashed. Chris Wright was involved again. No shock in that.
You have got to be effing kidding me with this.
And the Pittsburgh driver...
Jeez.
...just has no clue how to get out of the leader's way, and he's done it yet again. He's done it yet again. The man with the widest Chevrolet on the racetrack week after week has taken the dominant car of the day out of the race. Justin Allgaier climbs out of his car, and indeed, he has found another way to lose when he's been dominant at Texas. Unreal. This Chris Wright character has the mental age of 10. Unbelievable. He is running 20 miles an hour off the pace in the middle of the racetrack out of turn 4. Allgaier comes at him like double the speed, it looks like, visually, and just runs over the top of him because he has nowhere to go. What are we doing here with this character?
Oh, my word.
I mean, this is the same guy that nearly wiped Allgaier and Larson out in one swoop before the pit stops, and he's successful in his second bid of at least getting Justin. Well, that's terrible. That's absolutely terrible.
Yes, it is.
The Our Motorsports car comes to pit road, and for Chris Wright, who I'm sure is a wonderful fellow, doesn't mean to do this, I'm sure. I'm certainly hoping he doesn't mean to do this every week, but he does it. He's done it twice today, and this time it's taken out the car that led 99 laps. I mean, come on. Come on.
It's just a real shame.
Just no words. Just no words. That is so, so sad. Allgaier's car being hauled to the garage. The number 7 of Allgaier. That's won twice on 1.5-mile tracks this year, of course, as we know, at Las Vegas and Homestead, and was trending towards, if not a win, at least another spectacular result on a 1.5-mile track today. Disaster strikes.
And now, I look at our leaderboard, 6 or 7 drivers inside the top 10 that are yet to make a pit stop.
Right, 6 drivers had yet to pit. Sam Mayer, Daniel Dye, Taylor Gray, Jeremy Clement, Sammy Smith, and Anthony Alfredo had yet to stop. So we'll have a jumbled up running order now. Oh, that's despicable.
It's about like one of the minions driving the car.
I mean, again, I would never say without knowing the guy that he's meaning to do this. I'm sure, I am hopeful that he is not meaning to do this. But at the same time, it's happening a lot. And now it's happened to the point of you've just ended the day of not only a contender to win the race, but also a championship contender. We know how important points are, playoff points. Oh, Lord. That's just,
Okay, I haven't said it yet, so I will. Oh, merciful heaven.
That's just a terrible moment. Now we're going to get those 6 drivers that I just mentioned that didn't pit under green. They're going to come in here.
Sustained earlier, you see him at the top there. He said it did build a number or 2 throughout the run, so they will take a slight air pressure adjustment. Middle there, tight is the word on pit road for all of these drivers. Taylor Gray reporting need to be freer. He's just too tight on landing, and that car running just a little bit hot. And Daniel Dye there at the very bottom. That driver coming into this race with 2 straight top 10s, looking for a third. Kevin Walter telling his team, no reason we can't finish top 10 here today. We have the speed. Again, just needs a little bit freed up so he has better turn in that race car.
When the green flag.
So Mayer will win the race off of pit road from Gray, Dye, and Smith. Well, the complexion of this race just changed completely, and to the point you were making a moment ago before all this happened, Seth. Maybe the only car here that could take the fight to Kyle Larson is now junk.
That's for sure.
Wow. 41 laps to go here in Texas. We will wait for timing and scoring to recycle to give you the running order post-pit stops. For those of you joining us on JBM, and as I click over there, there's a lot of people that's clicked over to join us on JBM.
Yeah, well, you know what? We're most appreciative of that.
We are appreciative. JBM's appreciative. Apologies for what could be viewed as, I don't know, poor form, calling out Chris Wright in that way, but it's every week. It's becoming every week with him. And you can get away with it for so long, Seth, until you really do something very bad to a driver trying to win a race. And he's just taking out the champion of the series right there.
Yep.
So 40 laps remain in this race, and now timing and scoring has recycled, Seth, so let's give it to everybody. Well, everybody on USR and everybody on JBM can see the leaderboard right in front of them. Kyle Larson leads. Nick Sanchez is second. Austin Hill is third. Fourth is Brandon Jones. And Seth, it's Ryan Sieg, the runner-up in this race a year ago, that now runs fifth.
Sam Mayer is being scored 6th. 7th is Taylor Gray. Daniel Dye, 8th. Sammy Smith, nice bounce back after being involved in an early accident. He's up to 9th. And Jeremy Clements, who also had some trouble earlier in the race, is now 10th.
Anthony Alfredo is 11th. Brennan Poole is 12th. William Sawalich 13th. Riley Herbst 14th. And Harrison Burton 15th.
Corey Day 16th. Jeb Burton 17th. 18th is Jesse Love. Leland Honeyman is 19th. 20th is Matt DiBenedetto.
Parker Retzloff is 21st. Mason Maggio is 22nd. Joey Gaze at 23rd. Mason Massey's 24th. And Blaine Perkins is 25th. That takes you through the cars on the lead lap. In fact, there are only 19 cars on the lead lap, the last of those being Honeyman. Some of that may change here based on who takes the wave around, with the timing of this caution being so unique while it was in the middle of green flag pit stop. So that gives you the top 25. We'll give you the rest of the running order here. Ryan Ellis is 26th. Carson Quaffle, 27th. 28th, Joey Gase. 29th, Dean Thompson. Josh Balicki is 30th. Nick Lights at 31st. Justin Allgaier now out of the race. Is being scored 32nd. He'll continue to tumble as the laps go by. Garrett Smidley is 33rd. Catherine Legg, 34th. Chris Wright, 35th. 36th is Sheldon Creed. 37th, Josh Williams. And 38th is Christian Eckes. That is the running order as we are inside the final 40 laps of the Andes Frozen Custard 300 at the Texas Motor Speedway. And it's been a fun day, but it's definitely turned on a dime there just a moment ago. Let's go to CW Studios and Carla Metz.
Said it's honestly the most adversity I've ever faced. He also reminded me that he's never run a full season of anything prior to this year, and if he did, it was actually short track. So coming to the Xfinity Series and running the variety of tracks has been an adjustment for him, and then of course add the mechanical issues the team has had over the last couple of weeks. It's been a tough go for Sawalich, but a better showing today. Kim?
Yeah, let's check in with the 48 of Nick Sanchez, currently running in the second position. What a day for him, and it's been a combination of them being very happy with their speed lately, and Nick told me speed trumps everything in his opinion. If they have speed, the wins will come. He also has a great record here in the Truck Series, and on top of that, this is a brand new car. They were very confident about it. It's showing here today, looking to put the pressure on Kyle Larson. Dylan?
And Kim, another team that felt really good about what they had at the start of the day was the 8 car of Sammy Smith. The junior motorsports cars all have been so strong today. But if we get a look at the front of this race car, you'll see the damage that they've had to encounter or overcome from the lap 1 collision. They net gained in that cycle of pit stops, stayed out long there. It's got them inside the top 10 now, Kim.
Day done for Justin Allgaier after leading 99 laps today. You got tangled up with a lapped car trying to pass. Just walk me through what exactly happened.
Well, we almost got wiped out right before the green flag stopped by the same car, and going through the middle of 3 and 4 there. He went up and then turned down and then went back up, and then I tried to go to the bottom and he lifted and went back down, and just frustrating day. I hate it for all of our guys. Everybody on this Jarrett Logistics Chevrolet obviously had a really fast car. Having a great battle with Kyle there, and you know, we lost a little bit of time on that pit stop, but I still thought that, you know, if the race plays out the way that it should, we were going to have a great shot at it. I'm frustrated at today. I'm frustrated myself. Just I'll go back and watch the film and figure out what I can do different.
Top 5. I don't think there's anything he could have done different about the situation.
Watch the film. Who does he think he is? A lame duck NFL coach?
Yeah.
Or a lame duck football coach?
Here we come to the restart, front row of Kyle Larson and Nick Sanchez. Green flag goes up into the air, and Larson takes off with a terrific restart. He will leave Sanchez and Austin Hill behind him to fight for second, but it's Larson away with the lead in turn 2.
Larson away, and I mean away. How about 4 or 5 car lengths as they go down the back straightaway? Sanchez and Hill side by side for second. Hill pulls down to the bottom. Sanchez trying to surge outside. Sam Mayer way up the hill in turn 3.
Got really loose, and Mayer's going to lose quite a bit of positions through that at the start-finish line. Clanging off one another is Austin Hill and Nick Sanchez as they fist fight for this second position. Behind them, Taylor Gray slips down the inside of his teammate Brandon Jones to take over 4th.
Indeed, and here is Mayer now going to the outside of Daniel Dye. Meanwhile, Sanchez and Hill continue that battle for second. Guys, Larson's already leaving you. That's just going to make it worse for going side by side.
Yeah, Larson already by 1 second as Sanchez and Hill continue to throw haymakers. Hill comes down, tries to side drive Sanchez back. He is successful in that bid. They go into the corner. Sanchez wraps the bottom. Hill fades up.
So Sanchez cleared to second. Hill now to third. Gray 4th, and Brandon Jones into the 5th position now in that neon number 20. Here's Hill going to the inside, a little bit sideways. Sanchez will keep second for now.
Rolling off of turn 4, Kyle Larson's lead continues to grow from 1.1 seconds to 1.3 on that last lap. Larson already a win in this series earlier this year at Bristol, and a coulda, shoulda, woulda race that he could have easily won at Homestead. Got taken away from him late with a late yellow.
Sanchez stays in front of Hill as they go into turn number 3. Then Gray right behind Hill. It is Sanchez now in the middle lane, but Hill, great run on the inside through 4.
Sanchez trying to pick up a career best finish here as he runs in the second position. Races back to the number 1 turn. Austin Hill continues to pour on the pressure against Nick.
Yes, Sanchez keeps that spot on the outside and whips it around as they go down the back straightaway. Daniel Dye whipping it around. Good run for him today in a very sharp-looking paint scheme. He is in the 6th position. Hill about a car length behind Sanchez for second.
Yeah, top runner of the Colleague guys today, Daniel Dye, having a really terrific run so far. Speaking of Sanchez, how this would be a career best finish, Seth, of course, running for Big Machine Racing that only has 1 win in Xfinity Series competition years ago with Tyler Reddick.
Well, that's right. He did race for them, so and win for them. So there you go. As Hill goes way down to the inside again, trying to get to Sanchez. We know they should have had a win last fall at the Roval.
Exactly right. As we're down to 31 laps to go. Here's a cluster of cars coming out of turn 4. Mason Massey, and then a couple of damaged cars trying to just sputter along to the finish. Cars 1 and 2. Carson Quaffle and Jesse Love. Just off the back of that is Jeb Burton for Jordan Anderson's team.
Quaffle now going to the inside. Of course, Quaffle is a lap down in that 22nd position. Jeb Burton in the State Water Heaters car going through turns 3 and 4. Hugs the bottom of the racetrack now, drifts up about a half groove.
And opens up the door for both Riley Herbst and William Sawalich. So a couple of Toyota Supras out of the Joe Gibbs Racing stables race to the inside of Burton. That puts Herbst up to 15th, Sawalich to 16th, Burton backslides to 17th, and Corey Day's not too far back of him either. In fact, he's around the outside of him.
And that'll make Jeb Burton the last car on the lead lap, back to the 18th position. You are missing nothing at the front. As predicted, Kyle Larson is pulling away, but the battle for second's a good one.
Yeah, it's 2 seconds behind, actually 2.5 seconds behind Kyle Larson now, but it is a terrific scrap for P2 as Sanchez keeps defending from Austin Hill.
Yeah, good run as Hill reels it in at turn number 2. Down the back straightaway, now goes into 3. Sanchez drifts up about a half a groove. Hill now going way up, but Hill can't do anything.
Yeah, Austin Hill just can't find space to get around Nick Sanchez. 48 car has been extremely fast all day, and remember, no practice or qualifying for any of these guys yesterday due to weather, so that 48 car just rolled off the holler, Seth, really fast.
Absolutely. And again, the battle for second, it's a very good one, not just way off the lead, but hey, a good battle's a good battle. Hill now to the inside. Now slides back up. Sanchez keeps Hill behind him for now.
All of this is happening about a second ahead of Taylor Gray in fourth, who has started to kick away from his teammate Brandon Jones. We're down to 27 laps to go in Fort Worth, Texas.
Indeed we are. Here's Hill. Now trying to reel it in. Sanchez for second again. Sanchez goes up the track. Hill, again, starts slow, but then washes up high. Looks has a bit of a tight condition up there in 3.
Yeah, and Sanchez is taking all the clean air away from Austin Hill here. Sanchez is doing a masterful job running defensive here. He's doing a great job at it.
Working their way out of that second corner. Good defensive driving, as you mentioned, by Nick Sanchez to keep Austin Hill behind him. Hill now way down to the inside in turn 3. Battle for second place. Hill might have enough to stick this time. No, not quite.
Sanchez, a winner of 2 Craftsman Truck Series races last year at Daytona and Charlotte. Again, this would be a career day for him in the Xfinity Series. He only has 1 top 5 in this series. That was earlier this year with a 5th at Atlanta.
Yep. Indeed, that is the case. Sanchez, though, keeping Hill at bay for the time being. As the field motor's on now, we're into the final 25 laps. Taylor Gray, what a day he's had, up to 4th. Meanwhile, Sam Mayer to the inside, trying to get 5th from Brandon Jones.
Door handle to door handle, the Ford of Mayer, the Toyota of Jones. Jones with the nose in front at the line. Mayer's going to have that preferred inside lane to plunge down into turn 1. Now the car walks up the track with Sam, and the CW cameras cut away.
And we're going to look at Taylor Gray's beaten up car in 4th place. He's having a good run, but guys, it's a battle on the track.
And Jones has repassed Mayer. Actually, they're toggling that 5th position back and forth with each other. So they're running side by side, and we're missing it as Taylor Gray continues his strong run. Now Mayer has completed that pass, and indeed we get video proof of it in turn 1. Mayer in the middle of the racetrack now trying to eke away from Jones, but he's 3 seconds behind Gray.
Yep, 3 seconds behind Gray indeed, so 5th might be where he has to settle for the day unless something catastrophic happens. Brandon Jones now to 6th, Daniel Dye in 7th, then it's Sammy Smith, Ryan Sieg, Jeremy Clements. That's your top 10. How about Brennan Poole? Good run for him in the 11th position today.
And if he can get up to 10th, it would be his 3rd top 10 of the season. Remember, he's had a couple of terrific runs this year, including a 4th at Martinsville, which got him eligible for the Dash for Cash at Bristol, rather.
He was so caught up in the DC Solar mess and got basically out of the sport. No one could find a ride for him. You forget, first year and a half he was in this series when he was driving for Chip Ganassi. He was pretty darn good.
Yeah, absolutely right. And for Daniel Dye, graduating up from the Truck Series to Xfinity this year, having a terrific run himself, is the driver from Florida, started 9th and still holding down a top 10 running spot in the 7th position, is Daniel, who only has 7 career top 10 finishes in this series, and 7th would actually match his career best finish in Xfinity competition, which he got at Indianapolis last year and then again at Martinsville earlier this season. Sammy Smith, the front end of that car, bandaged up terribly after early contact, but Seth, he's managed to get it back up into the top 10 in 8th.
So Sammy Smith up in 8th. Yeah, he's got the share special with the body work there, but making it work. And Ryan Sieg, 9th, just another ho-hum, top 10 run-of-the-mill afternoon for the driver from Tucker, Georgia.
And again, started 31st. Every single week it feels like we're talking about Ryan starting outside the top 25 or even the top 30, but always finding himself up in top 5 or top 10 positions at the end. If he holds on, it would be his 5th top 10 of the season. Once again, Austin Hill gets right underneath the spoiler of Nick Sanchez as they come across the line with now just 18 laps to go. By the way, Kyle Larson is not just getting out to the front now, holding his lead. He is running qualifying lap after qualifying lap. He's up that lead, Seth, now to 6 seconds.
Yeah, to say he's gone is an understatement. And Jesse Love, boy, it's been a whirlwind day for him, hasn't it?
Oh, it has. And a lot of these cars are beaten and battered, and he is one of them. In fact, left and right side damage suffered today from Jesse, but has rebounded to get to 11th. Might just miss out on a top 10 as Hill loads up for another run out of turn 2 on Sanchez.
He'll wind it up out of that second corner, try to pull to within a car length of Sanchez. Hill goes to the inside. Sanchez, though, keeping him at bay. Anthony Alfredo, we're going through the field and looking we're rotating. Battle for second through the field. Putting a bow on some days. Anthony Alfredo, another solid day at the office for Fast Pasta in 12th.
Top 10 last week for Anthony, 12th today as Sanchez continues to hold off Hill by 2 car lengths in turn 2.
And, yep, as they go off of turn number 2 and on the back straightaway, now they actually go into turn 3. Here is Hill, again, about a car length back. He goes about a scotch of a groove higher than Nick Sanchez.
Comes flashing off the steep 24 degrees of banking in 3 and 4, and Hill with a massive run down the straightaway. Tucks up right underneath Sanchez. Goes to turn 1. Sanchez opens up the bottom. Hill's going to sharpen the elbows and get Sanchez out of shape.
Yeah, and up the hill he went, and Austin Hill finally makes the pass stick. He moves to second by Nick Sanchez. Don't know if there was actually contact, if it was just a case of arrow loose. Hill goes up the track. All right, survey says contact. Maybe. Just the slightest bit. A little slight kiss.
I think Austin did a great job packing the air off the left rear of Sanchez. Just got him loose. And if they did touch, it certainly wasn't anything egregious. But that now gives a permission slip to Sanchez, if he can get back to the bumper of Austin, to give him a taste of his own medicine. Meanwhile, Kyle Larson...
Chris Wright still isn't on the track, is he?
Lord... Well, he is.
Oh, my God.
Now, how do you think Connor Zilic has to feel about this, Seth? He's here at the track. He's on the box. He's watching this race. He was half a lap away. We got a caution! We got a caution! Now, this is
the big lead.
Same thing that happened to Kyle at Homestead. Oh, and it's Day who has crashed it in the 17. Corey Day has brought out a yellow. Like I said, it's the same thing that happened to Kyle at Homestead. He was cruising towards victory in that race, and a late caution came out. Wiped out his big lead. My God, Corey's crashing hard in the tire barrier at the bottom of turn 4.
Holy cow.
How did he do that?
Well, if we can get a guy in the truck, we can get the Red Farmer treatment out of the truck, we can maybe figure it out. He's left front damaged on that 17 big time.
Wow. This leaves a very interesting decision for crew chiefs to make. Wow.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he just lost control.
Weird accident that was.
Yeah, he just lost control in the apron, and he just slammed that wall over there.
Not often you see the tire barrier getting utilized here at Texas. So that might be a lengthy cleanup because they've got to appropriate those tires back in order. I don't know why he hasn't come to pit road yet.
That is a good question, actually.
So, time for the crew chiefs to make a decision, Seth. What do you value more, track position or fresh tires? Heck of a question.
I just think I just follow what the 88 does and go from there.
See, I'm the exact opposite. I think I do the opposite of what the 88 does.
Okay, that's kind of what I meant. Like, I guess what I meant by the 88 does, like, if the 88 stays out, then you pit.
Yeah, I agree.
If the 88 pits, you stay. That's what I meant by that.
Yeah,
so.
I agree. Just do the opposite of what he does and hope it works out. Let's go to pit road. Kimmy.
There's a little bit of debate on the 88, but ultimately here's what crew chief Marty Lindley told his driver Kyle Larson.
10 to go before the pits are open. There's 17 cars on the lead lap. I think a lot of them comes. I think we got to come to win. Okay, yeah, whatever you want to do.
Well, it sounds like they're going to pit Larson. If you pit Larson...
Stay out.
We don't root for or against anyone. We just root for a good fun race.
Exactly.
We root for storylines.
Yeah, that too. And content.
We'll see. Not sure if they're able to open pit road yet or not due to them working on the...
I don't know how you could.
No, they have.
They are.
They have opened pit road, and Larson is in. Who else?
All right, he's not the only car in this race. We'll see if anybody else went with him.
What I need, he said, I'm a little free to fire off. I wasn't bad that last run, but I know this run's going to be...
Not everybody did.
Saying, I'll tighten you up just a little bit for this last little bit stint.
Brandon Jones is in as well, was running in the 5th spot. He said we were just too tight on that run, disconnected the back of the car, but didn't do anything to help the front. They'll change right side tires and an air pressure adjustment as well. Go around and change the left sides as well. Austin Hill will be in as well, a little bit further down pit road. He said that he was free behind cars, but chattered the fronts as soon as he got in the 48. They'll keep making swings at it.
It looks as if the drivers that stayed out are Austin Hill, Nick Sanchez, Taylor Gray, and Sam Mayer. Looks like those 4 decided to stay out. We'll see.
I like a good strategy pull here at the end of a race.
And could Austin Hill be in line for another win? It would be his 4th of the season. Or could Nick Sanchez snatch his first career win? That's why that battle for second, lap after lap, those two were battling, Hill and Sanchez. It's why that battle was so important. Because if something like this happened, now Hill will be the control car and get to choose what lane he restarts on, and Sanchez has to be the reactor rather than the actor. So.
The actor.
We're going to get a dash to the finish. It's going to be under 10 laps to go. So that was a Hendrick car bringing out a caution, eliminating a big lead for a JRM car.
Interesting.
Wow. Wow.
What? Whoa! I'll tell you what. That person has to be from the Midwest. I know someone the other day who's from the Midwest was drinking a Busch Light, and she told me that they drink that stuff like water.
Let's see, how many Busch Lights was that?
Oh, for God! Oh, we're gonna count this now. I mean, it had to be at least 15.
I mean, that looked at least to be a dozen and a half. Wow.
Is that Wally?
Is that beer?
Yes. Wow.
And there are even more people tuning in on JBM now and have absolutely no idea what we're talking about. Yes,
God,
the world feed, while CW is in commercial, got a shot of 2 shirtless men in the grandstand with what looked to be at least 15, possibly 20 empty Busch Light cans, and one at his legs all kinds of spread out, and neither one of them, I may say, looked like they had ever heard of what we call sunscreen.
No.
They will be burnt up as they walk out to their vehicles.
Well, let me tell you, when they wake up in the morning, they are going to be burnt up and have a throbbing headache. Then again, this might be a weekend pastime for them, so maybe not.
It could be. Oh, dear. All right. Field just got 1 to go. Leaders have taken the choose. As expected. Wow. Riley Herbst got spun out on pit road. by his teammate William Sawalich, unseen by us live.
Well, that's nice. That's nice.
So as expected, the leader, Austin Hill, the control car, takes the inside of row 1. To his outside, Nick Sanchez. You've got drivers at 2nd, 3rd, and 6th, all looking for their first career win. Here we go, Seth. It'll be 7 laps to go.
7-lap shootout in Texas. It's Austin Hill, Nick Sanchez, Taylor Gray, Sam Mayer, Jesse Love, Anthony Alfredo, Kyle Larson, Harrison Burton, Sammy Smith, Brandon Jones. Welcome to a new phrase, people. Hold on to the edge of your seats, folks. This one's got a chance to be wackier than Taylor Swift's love life.
Kyle Larson, who was leading by a mile before the caution, will restart on row 4 with fresh tires. Hill and Sanchez are into the restart zone. Green flag gets put up into the air by chief starter Brett Dalton. Not a good restart for Austin Hill. Nick Sanchez has a nose in front going to turn 1. Jesse Love tries to stack it up 3 wide. Pedaling up the top of turn 2, Nick Sanchez has the lead.
But Sam Mayer fights back. They're 3 wide for the lead in the middle. Larson all over the back of Mayer. Pushes him. Larson to 2nd. Larson now wants the lead, but he gets too high. Sam Mayer to the lead. Sanchez back to 2nd.
Sam Mayer to the lead. Hill and Sanchez door handle to door handle for 2nd with 6 laps to go. Larson still with traffic to get through. Takes it to the outside of turn 1. Around Austin Hill. Trying to get around Sanchez. Tries to split the middle.
Had to tuck back in line behind Sanchez, though. Sanchez to 2nd. Larson 3rd, Hill 4th, Taylor Gray inside of Sammy Smith for 5th. Larson now tucks to the bottom of Sanchez to try and grab 2nd.
Well, the fresh tires obviously paying huge dividends for Larson as Sammy Smith gets punted up and into the wall at the start-finish line. Cracks the outside wall and continues to ride the wall on the way to turn 1 to bring out a caution with 5 laps to go.
God almighty, Austin, what the hell was that?
My heavens. Austin Hill has never been one to be called graceful as a ballerina, more like a bull in a china shop when he needs to be. And, yeah. Big country. Shouldered his way into Sammy Smith right there.
Yikes.
Well, again, think of how Austin got around Nick Sanchez on the green flag run before.
Well, exactly.
Meanwhile, a moment ago off turn 2, Jeremy Clements popped the wall.
Oh, man.
Probably not what Sam Mayer wanted to see.
Definitely not what Sam Mayer wanted to see.
He had Larson in some traffic. Now we're going to head to overtime. And Franklin, Wisconsin, Sam Mayer finds himself right in the thick of another Texas finish.
It's unbelievable how this works for him, doesn't it?
This is a guy that, for the last couple of years, has been at JRM and has won 7 races over the last 2 seasons in the Xfinity Series and has started to become a road course master in this series, winning at Road America, Watkins Glen, and twice at the Charlotte Roval. He's gotten some oval wins here lately last year at Homestead, Iowa, and this race right here at Texas a year ago, as by just 2 1/1000ths of a second he edged out Ryan Sieg at the checkered flag. Now he will be the leader going to overtime and will have to fend off Nick Sanchez and, of course, most notably, Kyle Larson. Well. I thought going into turn 3 on the first lap off the restart, Larson with a triple slipstream was just going to go 4 wide and pass them all.
I did too.
And he overcooked it a bit into 3. That's what got Mayer out in front. Of course, you mentioned it earlier, too. Mayer trying to win the Andy's Frozen Custard 300 with Andy's Frozen Custard on the hood and quarter panels of that race car today.
So he's got double the motivation to do this. Repeat and triple the motivation. 1, win a race to get extra playoff points. 2, win here for the second straight year. 3, win for the race's sponsor. Right. And I guess this really isn't 4 because it's kind of the same. It can be lumped in with 2. Keep the sweetest trophy in the sport.
Yes. So he's got Andy's frozen custard on the hood and quarter panels of that blue topaz-colored car. Trying to take it to victory lane today for the Haas Factory team. Of course, you know the Haas Factory team, which was Stewart Haas Racing. Then when Tony Stewart pulled out of the sport at the end of last year, Gene Haas did keep 2 cars in Xfinity and 1 in Cup, renamed to Haas Factory team. And really, both of those cars in this series has had really good starts to the season. Mayer has 5 top 5s in 11 races this year. He's 3rd in the championship. Of course, Sheldon Creed would be higher up in the championship if he could just get any kind of good luck.
Here's the finish last year. What you will not hear on this clip is the PRN announcer, Rob Albright, who apparently had Ryan Sieg in a big BetMGM parlay. Either that or he had a personal vendetta against, or his buddy was betting Sam Mayer. God bless Rob Albright. I've talked with him on social media before. Comes across as a very good person, but that was not his best moment.
Neither was Sonoma many years ago. We knew him as the Rushville Rocket. Okay.
It's kind of like Rick Allen disease. Like he's got stuff that he says, and it's in his mind, but it comes out of his mouth. It comes out of his mouth. It's
what we call
just doesn't come across right at all. I can't believe you're
Rick Allen disease.
I can't believe I got you again on that. Not again, just again on something.
Oh Lord,
you like that one, didn't you?
We call that Schweigs, Rick Allen disease. All right, 1 to go.
What? Schweigs?
Schweigs. Here's the choose. As Mayer goes to the inside of row 1, Sanchez to the outside. Now row 2 will have Hill on the inside and Larson on the out.
By the way, Matthew, if you told the U.S., speaking of Schweigs, because of what it sounds like, you told the U.S. Starting audience about what's coming up here real soon, the newest thing on our network.
No.
The World Sperm Racing Championship.
Okay, enough out of you. I thought we were going to transition into the FIFA Club World Cup, but you go to that. Thank you very much.
Well, that'll be a good preliminary for it.
I think that'll be on JBM only. Anyway,
oh, God!
Here we go. Overtime at Texas. The overtime rules, of course. If the leader and only the leader receives the white flag, then the next flag, be it yellow or checkered, will end the race. If a caution comes out before the leader takes the white flag, we'll re-rack it and do it again. Mayer from Sanchez on the front row, Seth. Who's going to get it done in Texas?
Oh, I thought it was enough out of me. Now, you want me to talk again? Sam Mayer, Nick Sanchez on the front row. Austin Hill, Kyle Larson, Taylor Gray. Top 5. I think the 88's going to have it, boys. Here we go.
Sam Mayer has been so consistent this year. 5 top 5s in 11 races. Can he finally knock down a win in 2025? His Haas Factory team Ford Mustang takes the green flag and gets away from Nick Sanchez. Now he opens up the door for Austin Hill, who wedges his 21 Chevrolet to his inside. And Austin Hill and Sam Mayer go side by side for the lead in turn 2. Kyle Larson approaching on the scene.
Mayer did a good job. Oh, trouble. Jeremy Clements backs it into the wall hard out of turn number 2. And we're going to re-rack him again. Jeremy Clements, the back end of that car, absolutely nailed the turn 2 wall the outside. His car comes to rest just shy of the inside retaining wall. AMR safety crews on the scene. And the driver from Spartanburg, South Carolina, who was on his way to have a pretty decent finish today, has found trouble.
And we're under yellow again. We will go to a second overtime. This race is not over. And NASCAR will now go to scoring loop data to figure out who was running where at the time of the caution to set the order. Sam Mayer opened up the door for Austin Hill, and I thought that was going to be Mayer's race over when he did that set, but actually he was able to get back to the lead, and he was the leader at the time of yellow, so Sam's going to hold on to the lead. I didn't think he was going to be able to do that.
Unreal.
Boy, at the time of caution, who in the wide world was second? Was it Larson, Hill, or Gray? There were three wide.
That's a hard hit Larson just took back. Or not Larson, Clements took back at it into the wall there.
That's the second straight restart where Jeremy's been in the turn 2 wall. This time he did it sideways. Riley Herbst on fresh tires, by the way, and Jesse Love. They pitted with Larson, and they're going to be, they're up there too for this restart. Now, there are 8 scoring loops around this track.
No, thank you very much.
And there they are!
Oh, wow! Wow! So you weren't kidding. They really were. Wow. There they are.
And because this is not determining the finishing order. Remember at Talladega last week we had this, previously passed loop, but that's not how they determine finishing order. When it determines the finishing order, they go to instant replay and video cameras. But when it's just determining a restart order, it is based by previously passed loop. So the question was, how were they running when they passed loop 4 before the caution came out? And the general rule of thumb, this doesn't always work out this way, but the general rule of thumb is they try to have a scoring loop every 1/8 of a mile around the track. Let's go to Dylan Welch on pit road.
Today, what is your message to your driver on this restart to try to battle these two in front of him?
I have nothing to say. I mean, he's done a heck of a job, and we got to this point, so not bad for a car that never turned a lap till 1 o'clock this afternoon. It's brand new, and it performed, so it is what it is. We made our bed, and unfortunately we got to go race some really good guys. But I'm proud of the day so far, and for some reason we always run good here at Texas, and hopefully it is what it is, but we got a lot of pressure there. The guys got some new tires, but I got faith in Nick, and hopefully we come out of here with a good finish. All we can do is put ourselves in position. As the last few weeks have shown, anything can happen and come into the white, so it is what it is.
Real quick, I walked over here and you were leaned up against these tires. How are you feeling? You nervous? You excited? You ready to go?
I mean, I'm nervous. I'm anxious, but like I've made my decision. We stayed out, and I hate that these cautions keep coming, but like I said, sometimes I don't enjoy this as much as I should. I know Parker's up there. He'll understand, but sometimes I just take a step back and look at everything and try to take it all in. Scott's up there watching, and hopefully we can bring it home.
Good perspective. Good luck the rest of the way. And he mentioned this team always being good here. The Big Machine Racing's only team win came here at Texas in 2022, so they know what it.
Yeah, that was with Tyler Reddick aboard. That was the voice of Patrick Donahue, the team owner of the Big Machine Racing team that currently runs third with driver Nick Sanchez. It would seem, Seth, as if they have sorted out the running order. So let's go ahead and give everyone the top 10 for this next overtime restart before the choose, of course.
Sam Mayer, the leader. Second, Kyle Larson. Third, Nick Sanchez. Fourth, Taylor Gray. Fifth, Austin Hill. Matthew, you want 6 through 10? You want me to keep going?
Yep, go ahead.
Sixth is Riley Herbst. Jesse Love will be restarting 7th. They score Harrison Burton 8th, Ryan Sieg 9th, and Jeb Burton in 10th.
So that's the top 10. And again, that's the order before they go through the choose. Coming to our second attempt at overtime, Sam Mayer Radio.
I'd agree.
Okay, no, we did not get Sam Mayer Radio. Sorry. But whatever he said, Parker Kligerman agrees.
Or as the Orlando news anchor called him, Parky Kliger, or whatever it was. You do remember that, don't you?
I do, yes. They did not take one to go this time behind the Chevrolet Corvette pace car. So they'll do at least one more lap before getting one to go. Reminder, it's just a jam-packed weekend. We are jammed up and jelly tight on the USRN family of networks this weekend. As tonight here on USRN, we've got an NBA first-round Game 7 between the Los Angeles Clippers and the Denver Nuggets. And then at 8 on USRN2, a Stanley Cup playoff Game 7 between the Colorado Avalanche and Dallas Stars. Our apologies to Denver sports fans. We did not make that schedule. Tomorrow, what a day. Starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, on USRN2, the NTT IndyCar Series is in Birmingham, Alabama. Then at 3 o'clock here on USRN, the NASCAR Cup Series at Texas, running the Worth 400. Then at 4 o'clock on USRN2, it's the Formula One Miami Grand Prix. All three of those races can also be heard right here on JB Motorsports on YouTube. And then tomorrow night, USRN, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, another NBA first-round Game 7 between the Golden State Warriors and Houston Rockets. Meanwhile, USRN2 at 7 has Game 7 between the St. Louis Blues and the Winnipeg Jets. One to go given this time, and to the choose we go. Mayer predictably goes to the inside of row 1. Larson will be to his outside. Row 2 will have Taylor Gray on the inside, Nick Sanchez on the outside, Austin Hill inside of row 3, Riley Herbst outside of row 3. So that's how the first 3 rows will shape up here for a second try at overtime as we strike 4 p.m. local in Fort Worth, Texas. A beautiful sun-drenched day after a day full of rain that washed out practice and qualifying for this race yesterday. So, will we get to the finish this time around is the question. This race has been marred with a lot of caution, Seth. That last one was our 11th of the day. Will it be the last one, or will we finish it this time?
Oh, that remains to be seen. With Mayer and Larson on the front row, many people would give the 88 an advantage, so it's the most captain obvious thing of the day. 41 has got to nail this restart.
Yep.
Gray, Sanchez, Hill. The rest of your top 5, here we go. Double overtime.
Chevrolet Corvette pace car will peel to pit road. The leaders will take a look at the Echo Park Automotive Restart Zone. Brett Dalton will put the green flag skyward, and here we go. A second attempt at overtime in Texas is underway. Sam Mayer puts a nose in front of Kyle Larson as he sees the green flag. Gets turned sideways a bit from Taylor Gray. Mayer saves it. Larson with his foot around it on the outside. Kyle Larson zooms to the front.
And he might be gone. Whoa, into the wall. Nick Sanchez, he clips the wall off turn 2, keeps it going. Taylor Gray on the inside up to second. Mayer, though, fights back. That's all Kyle Larson needs to see. Coming for the bell lap at Texas. He's got a 5-car length lead.
Kyle Larson sweeps out of turn 4, and he will take the white flag and lead going to the final lap at Texas by 6-car lengths on Taylor Gray, who steals second from Sam Mayer.
Mayer now. Mayer trying to fight back on the outside. Mayer way up the hill. Maybe kiss the wall. Gray clear to second. Mayer will lose more spots. Herbst to third. Hill to fourth. Mayer back to fifth. But it's all Kyle Larson. He's heading home out of turn 4.
How about this for bullpen depth? Super sub Kyle Larson to the checkered flag. Filling in for Connor Zilich. Larson wins the Andes Frozen Custard 300 at Texas. His 52nd career NASCAR National Series win. His 17th Xfinity win. Second of the year. Kyle Larson for JRM and Kelly Earnhardt Miller's team wins at Texas.
Oh, my Lord. Once he got that run on the outside, it was all over. You have to say it, but...
I mean... that is one of the world's best race car drivers right now, schooling the Xfinity Series field again. And remember his comments after the Bristol race, in which he dominated that day, leading 277 of 300 laps en route to victory. He had those statements that were a bit controversial to some that said whenever he runs Xfinity, he wants to embarrass the field And he wants to embarrass NASCAR a little bit for not allowing the Cup guys to run an Xfinity as much. Of course, this was not a planned start for Kyle. Filling in for the injured Connor Zilic. Frustrated Nick Sanchez on pit road, who had such a great run today, ended up hitting the wall first lap off the restart out of turn 2. And, oh my goodness, Seth, he fell all the way back to 20th at the finish.
Who did, Mayer?
Nick Sanchez.
Nick Sanchez, yeah, that's a tough break for Sanchez.
Mayer did get to the line 5th. Kyle Larson on the main straightaway celebrating this victory.
Yeah, Adam, you mentioned his second win in the Xfinity Series at Texas, his second win in the Xfinity Series of the season. Now, this one a little bit different than Bristol. You had to work hard for this one. What was the key to surviving those late race overtime restarts?
Yeah, there was a lot of survival, I felt like, throughout that race. Just dodging some wrecks, balance we had to work on quite a bit. So it was fun. I felt like my car, though, if I could ever get to the lead, I could stretch out. I just couldn't get by Justin. He was doing a good job of just running where I needed to be. But thanks to JRM for letting me come run this thing here today. Obviously wish Connor was in the car, but it means a lot that they thought of me to call up to run this thing. So thanks to Blue Hogs Barbecue, HendrickCars.com, Chevrolet, Valvoline, everybody who helps out, Hendrick Motorsports as well as JRM. So had a lot of fun today and cool to get another win here.
Kyle Larson, a winner at Texas.
5 wins this season.
So Kyle Larson, who didn't actually lead a ton today. Of course, we know Justin Allgaier led the most laps at 99. Austin Hill led 57 laps. Larson ended up leading 32 of what turned into 208 laps in a double overtime finish to score the victory here in Texas. His 17th career win in Xfinity Series competition. Mentioned it's his second win of this season after his dominant victory up in Tennessee earlier this year. So Larson scores the victory, and Seth now looks for the double tomorrow, and we all consider him one of the top choices tomorrow for sure in the Cup race.
Oh, you better believe that. He's a favorite everywhere we go. Like I say that every week when we talk about this. When you say that Larson's getting a favorite, I was like, well, he's pretty much a favorite everywhere. Nick Sanchez, guess that's who that is having a talk with one of Jesse Love's crew members.
Yeah, those two having a conversation down there. Nick's obviously extremely frustrated. He was top 5 all day long, it felt, and ends up 20th. Just unfortunate circumstances of what happens sometimes in these overtimes as he falls down to 20th at the finish. I was teeing up earlier before the caution came out that sent us to overtime. I do wonder how Connor Zilic feels. He's at the track, watched the whole race from the pit box with the rest of the team. You know he has to be happy for the team that they won, but we always hear from drivers they don't like to see other drivers driving their car. Not only did he see someone step into his car today, but he saw someone step in and win in his car today. Second win for the 88 car this year after Zilic won in Austin, Texas.
Indeed.
So we told you about everything that we've got going on here this weekend here on the network, including later tonight with a couple of Game 7s, one in the NBA and one in the NHL coming up tonight, 7:30 here on USRN, the Clippers and the Nuggets, 8 o'clock on USRN2, the Avalanche and the Stars. So Seth, your final thoughts from what was a fairly chaotic Xfinity Series race today with 11 cautions and 2 overtimes here in Texas.
Anytime we get to work a race with you is just fantastic, and had a lot of fun today, and yeah, it was a good race, and then once Larson got to the front, you had a feeling it was going to be a bit of a stinker. The late cautions made it interesting, but Larson too good for them all in the end. A shame that some guys had really good runs ruined by differing circumstances. Obviously, Allgaier with whatever you want to call that was. And then Sanchez fading late. He didn't get the finish he deserved. Neither